boundary and chain. Ain't nothing can stop our return. We are a force to be reckoned with. Destiny, kingdom, and maze. Battle like Atlas, waiting with madness. Count us to practice, that is his matchless. We are the heroes, here to slay. Never back down, never astray.
Greetings everyone! From June 5 to June 17, the MSC Guest event will be available in the esports channel in-game. Just log into the game and cheer for your team. Once you've made a guess correctly, you will gain a lot of MSC coins as a reward.
You can use the MSC coins to redeem a brand new Atlas Rune Sentinel epic skin, a MSC exclusive avatar border, emotes, and past MPL skins like Jawhead, Space Explorer,
and Claude Earth's Mightiest.
Don't wait, join the event now.
How are the matches, everyone? From the 5th to 10th of June, the MSC Guest event will be in full swing in-game.
Join the event and you can make your guesses on who will emerge the victorious as champion team.
If your guess is correct, you will be handsomely rewarded with 1,000 MSC coins. You can exchange the coins for the brand new epic Atlas skin, Rune Sentinel.
A 2023 MSC exclusive avatar border, emotes, and past MPL skins like Jawhead, Space Explorer, and Claude Earth's Mightiest.
More rewards are waiting for you. Don't hesitate.
Don't hesitate.
It's time to get them. That's right, everyone. From June 17 to June 18, as long as you log into the game, you can claim MSC Banner of Morale and the corresponding MSC coin reward.
Use the coins you have to redeem brand new epic skin Atlas Rune Sentinel,
A 2023 MSC exclusive avatar border, emotes, and past MPL skins like Jawhead, Space Explorer,
And Claude Earth Mightiest. There will be other rich rewards waiting for you to claim.
So what are you waiting for? Join the MSC Carnival and enjoy the event now.
join the MSC Carnival, and enjoy the event now.
I'm Danry James Del Rosario, also known as Wise, and I'm the jungler of Blacklist International. Ang favorite Mobile Legends hero ko is si Sanshin, and kasi Korean siya, general. Tapos yung kit niya sa paglalaro, sa yung passive niya, yung skills niya overall. Tingin ko medyo 50-50 yung paggamit ko sa kanya sa MSC 2023 kasi yung meta ngayon hindi masyadong pabor kay YSS, so mahirap siya ipasok sa sa game, lalo pagka ang kalaban mo is mga pro player din and yung mga best of the best tulad ng mga champion and sa mga first runner up, medyo mahirap siya. Ang qualities ng mga hero is inuuna yung iba kaysa sa sarili nila, and yun yung mga hindi sila selfish pagka hero ka, talagang uunahin mo talaga yung mas ikakabuti ng iba kaysa sa sarili mo. Ang real life hero ko is yung parents ko, syempre, kasi sila yung sa akin nagsilang, and simula doon sa pagkabata ko, sila na yung kung ano ako ngayon, sila yung dahilan nun kung ba't ako tumagal sa mundo. Medyo mahirap yung buhay namin, and yung mama ko is nag-OFW para supportahan kami. And nung nag-start na ako as a pro player,
ready for the battle cry with a mighty stride. We're against the heavens, set the fire to the sky. Keep burning bright, kill the allies and enemies mesmerize. Strive for domination. Feel the pressure rising. The fight with your life and for your nation. With your devotion and motion. Lay it on the line, the choice is yours. Offense or defense, let the courage pour. Reaching for your heart, it's up to the sun. Now or never, time to rise. We will transform. chosen one that brings the heat, the passion, the heart, the soul, and the fury. Show it all, let the world see. We are legends, stepping on the ground. No time to waste, striving to conquer. Face the foes, we grace. Be the challenger. It's time to soar. Now or never, climb a rise. We will strive for more. Take the by storm, time to see the boundary and chain, ain't nothing can stop our return. We are a force to be reckoned with. Destiny kingdom and maze. Shining like Atlas, waiting with madness. Countless of practice, that is his matchless. We are the hero, here to slay. Never back down, under a strike. Fade away, sink or swim. Match by match, day by day. Determination and will let us live. See the world, we should conquer. S-E-A, see the world, we are warriors. Warriors on the line, the choice is yours. Offense or defense, let the courage roar. Reaching for new heights, it's time to soar. Now or never, time to rise as we will suffer. Take the world by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. Take the world by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. Take the world by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. It's not a fight, blood, sweat, tears, and pride. Ready for the battle cry, with our might and strive. War against the heavens, set the fire to the sky. Keep burning bright, kill the allies, and enemies mesmerize. Strive for domination. Feel the pressure rising. The fire with your life and for your nation. With your devotion and motion. Laid on the line, the choice is yours. Offense or defense, let the courage roar. Reaching for new heights, it's time to soar. Now or never, time to rise. We will strive for more. Take the world by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. We're fighting to build a legacy in this better ground for kings. We're here to show the world that we're the chosen one that brings the heat, the passion, the heart, the soul, and the fury. Show it all, let the world see. We are legends, stepping on the ground. No time to waste, striving to conquer. Face the foes, great grace. Be the challenger. It's time to soar. Now or never, climb a rise. We will strive for more. Take the world by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. Take the world by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. Hey, hey, hey, every boundary and chain, ain't nothing can stop our return. We are a force to be reckoned with. Destiny, kingdom, and maze. Shining like Atlas, waiting with madness. Countless of practice, that is his matchless. We are the hero, here to slay. Never back down, under a strike. Fade away, sink or swim. Match by match, day by day. Determination and will let us live. See the world, reach to conquer. gates of heaven, set the fire to the sky. Keep burning bright, kill the allies, and enemies mesmerize. Strive for domination. Feel the pressure rising. The fight with your life and for your nation. With your devotion and motion. Lay it on the line, the choice is yours. Offense or defense, let the courage pour. Reaching for your heart, it's not just song. Now or never, time to rise. We will try for more. Take the globe by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. We're fighting to build a legacy in this better ground for kings. We're here to show the world that we're the chosen one that brings the heat, the passion, the heart, the soul, and the fury. Show it all, let the world see. We are legends, stepping on the ground. No time to waste, striving to conquer. Face the foes, break grace, be the challenger. It's time to soar. Now or never, time to rise. We will strive for more. Take the globe by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. Take the globe by storm, time to see the world. To the land of dawn as we see the world. Hey, hey, hey, hey. Every boundary and chain, aim, nothing can stop our return. We are a force to be reckoned with. Destiny, kingdom, and man. Shining like Atlas, bringing us madness. How us to practice, that is his matchless. We are the heroes, here to slay. Never back down, never astray. Yo, yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, passionate fans from all across the globe, welcome to MSC 2023 Knockout Stage. I'm your host, Mara Aquino, and here with me, the Cambodian sweetheart, Rabi.
ជម្រាបសួរអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នា Welcome everyone to the lovely city of Phnom Penh សូមហៅឲ្យកម្ពុជាមួយមក It's really my pleasure to be sharing a stage with you, Mara. And on behalf of the host country, I would like to thank to all of you here remotely and are present here in this hall.
Now, you're such a sweetheart, Rabi. There's one thing I want to highlight, though, that this year's MSC is unlike any before, as we have extended the invitation to 3 formidable non-Southeast Asian teams challenging the boundaries of regional competition. Now, while the two of them were swept away by the current, only one has proven their worth and have made it to this knockout stage.
Well, of course. And away from Turkey, Fire Flock Impunity is the lone survivor of the outer region representative. And they are on the quest for glories to go up against the unstoppable force, Blacklist International. Mara, can you tell me about the agents?
Oh, of course. Now, Blacklist International, the heart and soul of the Philippines, the M3 World Champions, have basically achieved every single one that's needed for MLBB, except for only one, the coveted MSC title.
Okay, now it's time to cheer for Blacklist International versus Fire Flock Impunity.
How about you do FIMP? I will do Blacklist International. How's that?
Sure, why not?
All right, you go first.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, who is the fans of FIMP? Make some noise! Okay, ថាតាមខ្ញុំទាំងអស់គ្នា FIMP FIMP FIMP Wow.
Now how about I go and I get the agents to cheer for Blacklist International. Now you know the drill. When I say Blacklist, you say break the code. Blacklist. Blacklist. One more time,
Still lower than FIMP.
Now, Ravi, this MSC Hall is beaming with energy. So how about we show them the sheer brilliance of MLBB competition? And now we're gonna head to our casters. Join us and see the world.
Thanks so much, Amara and Ravi. And now we are here at the English broadcast with myself, Wolf, your panel host, and of course, Gideon, Abstract, and Mirko with a special guest. And this guy actually was part of the broadcasting team of M1 World Championship in English, and his name is Manjin Valdas. How you doing, my man?
Hello, I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. This is it. Our first match for the Philippines in the
Alright.
knockout stages.
All right, we'll talk about your bias later on.
All right.
Mirko knows
I
this.
wonder who you're rooting for.
Yeah,
Okay.
what's that kabayas? How do you say that?
Cabayas.
Kabayas,
Yes.
perfect. Gideon, I wanted to ask you, how does it feel to be, with Manjin once again?
Dude, it feels good. The OG's back
OG's
on the
back.
desk. We're just missing one more guy. It's good
Yeah.
to have you on
Yeah,
the desk,
it's
Manjin.
been a while, man. I think back then, that was 2019 MSC.
2019, yes.
Right? You were
MS
casting
Worlds.
there.
We can't
Oh, and
relate.
also MSC.
Both of them. Both
Both of them.
international M series.
Look, do you guys just want to swap seats?
Yeah,
Like, both of us are in the center.
I'm
It feels
fine.
like the new blood is here.
I'm fine here with Wolf.
All right.
He
Well,
will translate for me.
All right, you don't need translating, but of course, everyone, this is MSC 2023 powered by Moonjon, supported by ROG, the official gaming phone, and Secret Lab, our official chair partner. Thank you for lovely sponsors, of course, and MSC wouldn't be possible without you. And special shout out to Secret Lab, our official gaming chair partner, where it comes with a built-in number support system that you can adjust to your spine, and incredible magnetic memory phone. Yeah, there you go. Look at them feature it, and the brand new fabrics to enhance the perfect designs. Enjoy the same performance and advantage trusted by the world's biggest esports tournaments at secretlab.co. And Abstract, I heard that you have something for us with regards to the in-game event.
I mean, when we are looking at in-game event, which will be happening, or rather is already happening from the 6th all the way up 5th, all the way until the 18th. If you purchase the MSC pass to get all new skin Atlas Rune Sentinel, which we have seen a couple of times, let's be honest, yeah, and you complete daily tasks to obtain lots of other MSC coins and exchange them for returned MSC skins, such as Jawhead's Space Explorer. We've got skins such as Leomor's Triumph Eagle, and even Claw's Earth Mightiest. And there's many other rich rewards which awaits you too.
Yeah, and aside from this, you can also, just to participate in our events like the support chest. And I think if you have some guest coins right now, guest tickets, who would you put it to?
I wonder.
I wonder.
Maybe FIMP.
Maybe
Maybe
FIMP. Wow.
FIMP.
Wow. Okay, clip
reverse
that.
psychology.
Reverse psychology. Clip that and put some hashtags. Hashtag Mobile Legends Backband. Hashtag MC2023. You want to feature what he just said. And, this is just perfect. We are going to be talking about the draft pretty soon. But for now, you already said about FIMP. All right. We're sensing some sus energy here. Are you actually voting for FIMP right now?
All right, so basically, I think that this game will go to game 5.
Okay.
And FIMP will take it.
FIMP will take it.
But if not game 5, Blacklist will win.
Look, I'm sus about this. I have a feeling Manjin is just gonna, embodying the caster's curse kind of thing going on right here. Something's not right here.
Something's not right.
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. Well, let's look at the brackets first, right? What generally happened all throughout the knockout stages. We already saw some RSG and BXF action earlier on, and was actually surprised that this happened. And this is a pressing question to many veteran casters out there. Manji, how do you feel about a knockout bracket that is single elimination?
I like it because you need to give it your all. Plus, we can all go home early. Right?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't feel like Manjin is a real person. This might be his clone. I know something about such things
Yeah.
and feeling cheated here. But Manjin, how in the world? With that jacket as well? Single eliminations, I agree at the very least that momentum is going to be key.
Yeah.
But FIMP, their entire playstyle was inspired by Blacklist.
Yes, it's like they are up against their teachers, right? FIMP be up against their
Practically,
masters.
yeah, practically. This is so weird. I don't know what is happening. I don't know. Maybe this is a Manjin clone, perhaps. So maybe another question. Maybe this time we get the real Manjin to answer this question. Now that the brackets have been laid out, do you think that it will be another PH versus PH Grand Finals?
I think so.
You're
Because
welcome,
there's
by the way. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. I made that possible.
Yeah, you and Lafel.
Lafel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we know.
Why do you think so?
Because there's more chances. So PH and PH, we have two PH teams in both of the brackets,
Yeah,
left and
opposite
right,
ends.
opposite ends. And for the past 2 to 3 years, PH has been owning. That's why I'm saying FIMP, because we already know the script, bro. We already know it's scripted. Right?
Yeah, completely.
Okay,
I was.
Okay, all right. I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
We're live.
Ooh,
Yes,
very
we're
well.
live.
The Republic is watching.
All right. By the way, we were so impressed about your dances back in
Oh, really?
before.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about those dances? And will you be dancing later on?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure because the Cambodian people are watching, and I think all eyes are on me, are on the Filipino fans, the agents and the orcas. But
All right.
I'm not sure. But
All right.
who knows?
Who knows?
It depends on the game.
Yeah, this is the second time that we have been here in Cambodia, and it's gonna be different because it's really just Mobile Legends action, and you are gonna be seeing Blacklist International. And the bigger headline here, for sure, is will the unstoppable Ube be again? Continue its unstoppable form, going up against the Turkish tenacity. You'll answer later, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the boys here. Do you think that there's a chance for the Turkish tenacity to overcome Ube this time? Mirko.
I mean, honestly, looking at the way they play, you know, they were able to take a game off of Echo with their, I would say, kind of chaotic gameplay, play style, right? And up against Blacklist International, I honestly feel like that might just be the strategy to go for. Echo likes it chaotic, brings them to places and splits them up. So with FIMP's play style with a fighter, mid laner, and Lunar, very
Okay.
interesting, but I think they do have the tools to make it work.
Very well. How about you boys?
Personally, for me, I think it's going to be a little bit more Blacklist favorite here because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, maybe I would agree with you if this was going to be a best of 3 because at least then you can catch them off guard with a couple of cheese picks. We've seen it before against the world champions themselves, so maybe they could repeat that particular series. But against Blacklist, the one thing that they have amongst all the other teams is their adaptability, and I think that's
I
what
agree.
sets them apart.
Look, I'm not a leader, I'm a follower. So honestly, well, throwback. So honestly, when it comes down to looking at Blacklist International, we have seen them reign, and they're just so good time and time again. It's just that they have flopped a little bit when it comes down to their time in MPLPH because there's so many other teams that are so competitive with one another. They've experienced the Blacklist time and time again. But when it comes down to in the global stage, the other teams, including FIMP, they didn't really get that much of a chance.
Now, you know, Manjin, you're witness to some of the losses that we saw from the Blacklist Ube strategy. How do you think, how does a team defeat that, actually? I wonder. Can you tell us a story? Because we don't know.
Yeah.
You're the expert.
Well, yeah. Well, by the way, I think FIMP, for them to win this, I think they need to play aggressive. Just let Blacklist don't be Blacklist.
Okay.
If they play the Ube strat too, they're up against the UBS team. You see
The
what I did there?
superlative.
You
The
see what-
superlative.
You see, it's Ube plus Estes in one word. They're up against the UBS team, so you cannot copy the UBS team. Right? So you don't play the Ube, just play the FIMP style.
The FIMP style.
I don't know what that is, but maybe just surprise us with more cheese bits.
Lapu mid, maybe
Right?
this time?
Maybe.
Maybe
Or
the
maybe
farm-
bring out the Gushan mid. I don't know.
Wow.
Anything.
We're about to find out. But before that, why don't we, lay the carpet for all of our players out there as we welcome Blacklist International and, of course, FIMP. To officiate the match, we have our marshals here to facilitate the game. They are here to ensure fair play and esports integrity. Prepare to witness the brilliance of the ultimate bonding experience, or the Ube strat, as the agents are ready to slay. Here comes Blacklist International!
With every possible MLBB accolade under their belts, they only need one more trophy to complete the crown.
The Queen and the agents are not going to stop until they achieve their goal.
If you are feeling the heat, it might be from the Turkish representatives all ready to go. Let's welcome FIMP's Impunity.
Despite facing a couple of hurdles, FIMP overcame and conquered them.
Led by the reliable Apex 47, they're pumped to be unleashed.
Now we introduce the masterminds of both teams. Coach Master the Basics with Dexter as the analyst and Coach Battle Seth and Osprey as the analyst alongside our head marshal to referee this match.
Oh man, it's really going to be an interesting battle here for both of these teams, especially considering how solid Blacklist International have been in the MSC stage. Meanwhile, for FIMP, how inconsistent they've been. They've been going for more dynamic drafts, so maybe that might just be the reason.
More like this could be the moment where FIMP, from what used to be your idols, now your competitors, they could look to try and break the code because they're the ones who studied it the most.
But I mean, let's be honest here. At least for myself, I feel that Blacklist International, they have went through so much. This squad of Wise, Edward, and Oh My Venus, they have went through so much with the addition of Yue as well as Owl. They're just gonna have to bend their ways a little bit and play within their same win conditions, and they are very likely gonna be one of the best in MSC 2023.
Gentlemen, much has been said about the players of Blacklist International, Al Wise, Edward Yu, and Oh My Venus, but there's not much about their coaching staff. So maybe let's pick a Manjine's brain here because you were able to talk to MTB and Dexter.
Yeah.
Maybe later on, as I think that we will be looking at Fireflux Impunity with Sunshine, Kazue, Alien, Kira, and Apex. Yeah, MTB and Dexter. What will be their contribution to the team?
Yeah, so back in the Philippines, I was talking to Dexter because we had a show match project, right?
Yeah.
And he told me that the other teams, they need to be ready for Blacklist.
Yeah.
Because they reserved a lot and they learned a lot back then in the Philippines after the grand finals.
Yeah.
They reserved a lot of their pocket strategies.
Wow.
And we've seen those type of heroes. We've seen the Minotaur and we also seen, I think, the Novaria for the squad.
Yeah, and now talking about Fireflux Impunity, the lone survivor of the non-sea regions. They are the hope of the Westerners to be successful here in MSC. Do you think that they can do the unthinkable against the agents?
I definitely think that they have an opportunity to take maybe a couple of games here, but at the end of the day, the meta is favoring teams who know how to play their team fights, who know how to go above and beyond. The outplays, like we saw in our first best of 5 in the knockout stage.
After all of the games that we've seen so far from FIMP in the first 4 days, I think it is relatively safe that FIMP, they do have a very good idea. And although now Kira, they kind of like mix up a little bit, right? Sometimes Kira is mid, or rather sometimes Kira is jungle, Kazu is jungle. It gets very difficult to predict.
Yeah. Now the best in the MSC roles, you can see Diablo already. In the XP lane, you already know that he performs so well. And there's Seacat, the mid lane, and Benny Cutie. But Oh My Venus and Wise, look at the stats of these two players, and it's just perfect that Manjin is here with us. What can you say about the royal duo?
Yeah, been there since the beginning of their journey. Ever since they went to Season 4 MPL, they've been dominating the league. And who knows, they might go to another grand finals because the stakes are high for this team.
Yeah, and I can barely remember the first time Oh My Venus and Wise went in an international stage. Gideon and Manjin, you were there. We were all there. Right?
We were all there, literally watching the Queen's Gambit take its place. And it was only in its infancy, you know? Those moments of like, wow, there are brilliant moments, but it hasn't gotten there just yet until today, where we see the full arsenal laid out before us.
Okay, sure. All right, you guys have been at team 1.
Inciting the FOMO within
I'm sorry, I might have to leave you out of this one, Abstract, because I'm going to bring up like M3. I was there when they won it all. So I'm sorry.
All right. Well, maybe there's something that Abstract can witness today. One thing we did witness in the group stages, Minotaur, Diggy, and Thermis, these support heroes. Gentlemen, how do you think, why does this work? basically.
It pretty much all encompasses on the fact that they just want to stick together as one entire team. There is a good amount of sustainability all around, and this is the thing. I always held that Oh My Venus is pretty much the main mastermind of the entire team, right?
Okay.
When Venus calls for something, everyone reacts to it. Everyone moves on, and they don't even try to deny, or they don't even try to challenge for it.
I think that could be a double-edged sword, though, because we've seen many teams able to adapt to the style. Sure, at first, Venus and the team's coordination, that's really what made Blacklist International special. That coordination, and obviously, I would just say, again, the mastermind, making these crazy calls split second. Thing is, though, teams like Echo have been able to dissect this because they're so formulaic, because it all relies on Venus. Once you put pressure on Venus, once you split that up, we have seen that be the weakness as well for Blacklist.
There was a time in the previous MPL Philippines where there was a lot of criticism on Oh My Venus because he stuck with the same amount of heroes, same pool of heroes. But now with the Minotaur up there, this was a big news, by the way, the Philippines. And maybe Manjit can tell us a little bit more story about this.
And I feel it's perfect. It's perfect for the Queen.
Really?
You know why?
The
You know
Minotaur.
why? Because it also has a heal.
Oh, okay.
That's what Mafel said too.
Right?
Is it as simple as that?
It's as simple as that. I also have a heal. Then I have a CC, and let's do it.
Gentlemen, were you ever that impressed about the Minotaur that you saw from the group stages?
Well, the way that I see it, the fact is, at least with Enchanter-style supports, it doesn't feel as big plays, right? We're talking about insurance policies. That's something that all the heroes that we've seen from Oh My Venus have kind of encompassed, right? Insurance policies, AOECCs, if not temp HP, and then we go back to Apex 47. Playmaker in his own right with the Franco.
When I'm looking at Blacklist International, or rather when I'm looking at Oh My Venus, the first few things that come to my mind is just sustainability, romance, and all that kind of stuff, until I did my homework and I look at Lolita. Okay, it's a lot more defensive based. There are definitely a lot of romance that can do multiple styles, but Oh My Venus really masters on the defensive style, and having a Minotaur part of this pretty much is perfect for Venus.
Okay, everybody just voted for Blacklist International. But I don't see Manjin here.
Except for me.
I don't see. All right, so Manjin, you already revealed that you were thinking that FIMP can take the game if it's a game 5.
Yes.
Is this still the real Manjin speaking?
It's still me.
Will the real Manjin please step up?
Okay, it's Manjin. It's Manjin right now that they're talking. They're talking to.
All right, so who do you think's gonna win?
FIMP will win if they're not overwhelmed. Because this is their dream to match up against Blacklist. They just need to play their game. They just need to be confident in their play.
I know
just
this.
don't be overwhelmed.
This is the Lodi syndrome.
It's
Or
the Lodi syndrome.
Si idol pala to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's the phrase.
That's the phrase. That's the phrase.
When you meet up against your idols, you get overwhelmed and you don't play good. So do you think that if they overcome that, they will win?
I think so, because we could see a lot of surprises. First of all, they are not afraid of Echo.
Yeah,
Right.
Alien said that he wasn't afraid of
not afraid of Echo. So it means they're also not afraid of Blacklist, especially Bad Girl Sep. I remember Bad Girl Sep was with us back in M4.
Yeah, M4.
And he told us that we were watching Todak's game back then. And Todak were losing.
Be careful what you're saying.
I know.
by the way.
I'm a big fan of Todak. I know. I know. And Todak were losing. And she is confident. So that's how confident she is. I'm sipping for FIMP, bro.
Manjin as if for FIMP as we head into the draft. Game number 1 of this best of 5 knockout series. Gentlemen, what can we expect as the bans and the first few picks of the game?
Surprisingly enough, I think some of the bans and picks are going to look very similar for both sides.
Exactly. Most of the time, we are definitely expecting to see the other teams will want to target ban onto Oh My Venus, always hitting onto the S-Dash, hitting on the D-Gate. But this time, what we're looking out for is the very generic bans from Blacklist International, where they always take out the Kaja and the Franco.
Those are the two main heroes that can actually say something with this Ube. But honestly, for Blacklist International, we've seen this, I think, 3 games in a row up against Toda. Fredrin being heavily prioritized. And with, Wise playing the Psycho Fredrin, as now we're calling him, I think it might just be a very good pick. It's pretty flex as well for them.
Yeah. Manji, what do you wanna see from Blacklist International overall?
I think they can reserve the DD. Speaking of the devil,
Well done. Well done.
It's
Talk
the
about
devil's
negative,
egg, bro.
Talk about negative synergy here.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. FIMP. How do you deal with this? What do you think have they prepared?
Personally, I think maybe FIMP might have taken a couple of pointers here. Wow, 103% pick and ban right now. That's a number I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
But I was considering maybe as their final pick of the first phase, potentially looking at the Claude. It's one of the few heroes that has actually taken a game off Blacklist International.
That's right. But there's a big straight up chance that Blacklist might pick it up since they're facing Eve and Glue.
Yeah.
That could be a potential. But yeah, what else do you think the Blacklist International will answer this time?
There is a very high chance that they will want to answer high ground to high ground, getting a Fasa into their mix. In the meantime, getting a couple, probably just prioritizing a pick for Owl. You know, someone that can really hold on to the fight a little bit longer.
I mean, we're already getting Frederick as well as a Valentina. If we're talking about getting a high ground alt like Eve, might as well just copy it, but still scale even harder.
Okay, there's the Frederick. This is pretty much a standard Blacklist draft, especially with US special Valentina. Wise has yet to lose a single Turtle Lord Retribution battle yet.
Really?
Wow.
Wait.
On the Frederick.
That's a stat that we weren't aware of.
Well, I don't think it's on the
100%.
Yeah. I think generally, as jungler, no one beat Wise on the Retribution battle.
That's even crazier then. I mean, people are calling him King of the Jungle as we know him as Psycho Fredrin with how much he just runs down. Literally, some EO energy, walk up to me and I'll take you out. But we're seeing that also the FIMP are trying to make sure that they can look for that one shot. We're not talking about CC, we're talking about just raw damage. And I think that the Amon in these positions can be a little awkward, especially in knowing how assassin matchups in the jungle deal against tank matchups.
Personally love the AA Mon here for sure because it has a lot of the AA Mon, and now the Joy has been banned out. No, typically people will look into the V-Wise duo, the tandem, but sometimes they look at the Edward. Abstract, how do you feel about the draft so far?
Honestly, one thing that I really like about seeing teams going up against Blacklist International is that they know that Oh My Venus can't play super aggressive all the way in the early stages of the game, right? When you pick up an assassin jungler, you would expect the opponents to go for Hilda, for example, right? Super aggressive right off the bat. And then FIMP knows that this is not going to be an option. Picking up an Amon right here, it may very well be one of the best answers to deal with this Diggy.
No? Isn't it far too early to pick up the AA Mon, however?
Yeah, I personally think that is showing it really early on might be a mistake.
I think it's not a mistake, especially for FIMP, because they have shown it in the group stages. Now, if this was hidden from everybody in the group stages, sure. The thing is, they have picked it up, and they know, Blacklist knows that Amon is one of the comfort picks from Cura, because we also saw this back in M4.
That's right.
So, I am looking at FIMP. I really, really like the drafts in the second phase coming out from them, right? They are really just trying to nail Edward down. And I think this has been one of the key main win conditions from Echo as to how they beat them in MLBB finals.
I think that you pointed it out because that's what we saw with the bans, and I think imagine you know this, targeting Edward might have been the way to go for teams to defeat Blacklist.
They need to shut down Agent Zero, I think, so that Blacklist cannot pop it up or that's what you call him, right?
Yeah.
Because he brings the aggression in the team.
I think targeting onto Edward is definitely one of the best ways, but also one of the most difficult ways, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Edward has such a wide hero pool. Right off the bat, I'm looking at Joy and Benedetta. It all makes sense. In the meantime, I'm also looking at Lapu Lapu. I'm also looking at Yuzhong, both of which are such perfect play for Blacklist International to really come up to deal with this Eve.
I mean, they're trying to make sure that they don't exactly have the easiest backline access, right? At least trying to make a decent matchup. Like, where they're banning out Benedetta, if they were really worried about reliable backline access, they get rid of the Yuzhong. They just want to slow them down. If it's about Blacklist International, it's about coordinated team play. 5v5s, as a matter of fact. Now we're seeing that the Lapu Lapu is getting chosen here. I'm curious to see what marksman Owl wants to play. Carry looks good, but there's still an assassin. Brody, wow, really wants to win that lane.
Pretty much comfort, huh?
Yeah. The thing is, this is a skill matchup, though. Brody versus Beatrix isn't, black and white here, especially for the Beatrix right now. The fact that the Brody has kind of been nerfed, not because the Brody's been nerfed, but because some of the items, the defensive items, has been buffed, especially with the steel light plates becoming just the norm now in the gold lane. Brody certainly loses a lot of kill pressure.
I think FIMP, they need someone to set up for the Beatrix.
ultimate
Is this a setup that you need?
Okay, this,
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Okay.
this is kind of like whole tactic going on right now.
I saw Gideon's reaction is like, Diggy
Hilda.
and Hilda. So many teams have tried Hilda against Diggy of Blacklist International. Not everything worked. We see audience prediction.
Bleeding red.
It's bleeding red. Blacklist International favored in this. And FIMP 88% as expected. The draft has been laid out. You know, let's ask Manjin one last time when it comes to the draft. Many teams have tried Hilda versus Diggy against Blacklist International. Didn't work. Do you think that this will be a game that FIMP can win?
This is so risky. I think the aim on third pick is a risky pick.
Okay.
But they want to secure it. But I don't trust the Hilda. It
Okay.
failed back in the group stages.
Yeah.
So I think we all know the script already. Blacklist will win, but I'm simping for FIMP, bro.
Okay, very well. Abstract, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we make our way in to the land of dawn, who's the one that will come up early? Is it gonna be the Ube team, or would it be the aggressive Turkey?
Well, let's see how this early game actually goes out. I mean, if Yue ends up dying here, that's probably going to be a very clear victory towards Blacklist International. But knowing how, to FIMP. But generally speaking, the way that we should be looking at this is especially when it comes down to these neutral objectives, right? Hilda is not really going to participate in the majority of these team fights, but is then looking for information, trying to make sure that Blacklist International, especially for their mid laner Yue, to continuously be pulled to a different direction.
I mean, when we are looking at Edward, he is the master of his lane. The least amount of death amongst all the players. And I gotta have to say, Edward, he knows exactly what he's looking out for. In this current lane matchup, he doesn't really want to go to all out aggressive against the Gloom, but really just all about the lane priority and wanting to get back with his entire team.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, I mean, I'm getting a lot of flashbacks from that Todak against Echo matchup and, Blacklist matchup. And honestly, when I see this Hilda into the Diggy, and especially with Oh My Venus playing on that Impure Range, you know that the Queen just wants the stacks.
Okay, well, right now there's a taunt already. Wise gonna be able to dish some damage out right there, but Endless Charge actually connects onto Edward, who just soaks it in. No damage, just practically tickles him. As both teams just disengage, not wanting to go for a skirmish, but just as I say it, Alien's gonna be engaged on Alien, jumping back with the slam, pass, but Alien's gonna be stunned up in the Brave Spider, the Appraise is cracked as well. First blood for Edward, Kira, terrified up, trying to run away as Apex 47 tries his best to distract, to get him out of there right now, but he's gonna be chain CC by the Fredrin. The sprint is not ready, and it's gonna be Blacklist International with a clean 2-0 start.
Now this is when we talk about lane matchup, especially micro. The fact is that Edward was already level 4, and unfortunately Wu was not in that same position. If you had the split, maybe something else, the occurrence could have been a little different, but the fact that they got 2 of those kills so early on, and a free neutral objective, that's gonna be an early goal for Blacklist International, start pressing the advantage against some of the stronger lanes.
Kira didn't even have his ultimate for that fight, unfortunately, due to the fact that the Lapu pretty much quote-unquote baited it out and managing to dash out of the way right before the final shot hits it. So honestly, Kira not exactly very good for that fight.
You can already see as well here, Wise trying to go for it. That's the red drink by Kira to secure it. The over manipulation and Endless Charge locks Wise down. The mobility fuel is right there, but the time journey locks him, gives him some space to escape. Wise is gonna fall. Kazoo picks up the kills. Alien rotates all around, but it's gonna be killed here by the Brave Spider. A terrified well, but Alien almost gets out just barely by Yue. Brilliant micro mechanics.
Great job from Yue. I think he needed to make sure that that kill went back. If not, that lane would have been very, very skewed. And also, it allows him to kind of recover a little bit of that early game damage. Regardless, at the end of the day, when we're looking at the items, and more importantly, when we start looking at the emblems at this stage of the game, we hope that Kira is able to scale super fast. Because eventually, Wise is going to be able to get Radiant Armors, able to get Twilight Armors even. Oh, a quick steal!
FIMP is still sticking over to their MO. With this lineup, they can afford to be playing very aggressively. Despite losing in the, or rather despite only having a 2-kill deficit, they still want to occupy the opponent's base as much as possible they still want to inhibit the control of Wise as the main frontliner.
Especially the fact that they were able to burn a battle spell, a very important one at that as well. Venus, the way he was able to utilize this Diggy up against Todak was getting in the right places at the right time with the flicker. Now, Turtle's gonna be spawning in that flicker is going to be on cooldown.
So the clutch is disabled on this car, but at the end of the day, Oh My Venus just has to position a little bit more dangerously, right? Alien's totally fine. He's come to a point in the game where it's not whoa!
Wow, Kira even doesn't deal enough damage to take Venus down. Time Journey pop, the shielding is enough to get him out of there. As Kira tries his best to start this turtle. Retribution not available for Wise, but it is for Kira. But it seems like Firefox Impunity do not have that right now. AP47 is hunting Venus down, but it's going to be locked down. Forced to use a sprint. It might just be a free kill over, and it will. The time bomb, the alarm bomb in the bush. This finds the kill back, and it's Blacklist once again with that lead.
I mean, I respect that. You know, Apex 47 wanted to go super aggressive, and we talked about the fact that Apex 47 is not afraid. In fact, the whole entire FIMP seems like they're not afraid.
And the charge may need to be afraid as Edward jumps in on their turret. Kira is able to utilize the invisibility, and here Wise will pick up that retribution onto the turtle. Neutral objectives so far going all the way to Blacklist International.
Kira's got to be real careful there. He should not have lived that at all. The fact that he went back in to greed out one auto attack nearly costed him his life. I think that's going to stick with him for now. In terms of item power spike, we are seeing the dominance ice as well as the Ice Queen's one coming out of the causeway. So it's going to help him really start chasing. But again, we're looking for that opening from FIMP.
I think that's a very fine line between, you know, respecting the opponents and being aggressive, right? Because FIMP, I don't know where they are threading right now. They would want to squeeze a little bit of hits in. They would want to really overextend themselves, but somehow they're not exactly punished.
Oh, Kira is being punished though. While you say that, Edward and Wise were able to just invade in the jungle. Now Apex 47, he might be a Hilda, but with those stacks in, Owl might just be able to slay him without the Torn Apart memory.
Team Hero has...
That's a lot of damage from the Brody in the 5th minute of the game. Completely snowballing, 7-1.
Yeah, they knew this rotation was going to happen. They already initiated one of their own to make sure that they are on the top side of the map, but you don't want to see this because it feels like right now, FIMP, whatever they do, they seem to almost be making the blunder, right? But Blacklist are the ones who are increasing the tempo. They are the ones, and especially with Psycho Fredrin, really pushing the pace.
The tempo is really working very well from the side of Blacklist International, right? Most, if not all of their players from their side is levels above of FIMP. There is definitely quite a disparity going on. Despite Edward just holding down to his lane, Alien and Kira still want to go in for a proxy in order to go for a little bit of off-tempo.
And the charge, well, Edward just takes it. It does no damage to Edward in the early game all the way now. You can see the defensive items for Edward is really, really paying off.
Yep, it's coming into effect, and that's why you need to make sure. Radiant Armor is honestly a really good buy. Some people even decide to go, depending on what the composition is, but we'll see the items in just a little bit as they've already lost a topside turret. This turtle basically a non-contestion.
Pretty sure that the robe is currently available for the side of Edward. He's been tanking all of that and doesn't seem like it's much of a problem. Blacklist International, they understand that the turtle is already working towards their favor. They have the priority at that. Then, of course, jumping onto the jungle is what they want to go for.
Bravest fighter from Edward. All the way to the back, Ethan! Kazooie! He's gonna be taken down the top side. That's gonna be Snipe coming down, but Owl's able to escape the Torn Apart memory. One more shot. Escapes! Blacklist are stomping on FIMP.
Not giving them any opportunity. Apex is going to get canceled, and this is just brutal. Sunshine needs to run, but even then, he's stuck.
Oh, Venus there. That's going to be Flicker. Venus Flicker is out as well. Wait! How did he do that? He finds a double kill. Finally, he's going to be punished by Blacklist International with Owl flickering forward. No, he just dashed in front with that Torn Apart memory. But man, that's a mistake that we rarely see.
That's fine. They can recover from this. Blacklist is still at a 3-point AK lead.
It's an island-wide coverage. We're looking at advances in the top lane. We're looking at advances in the objective. Blacklist International is still sticking true to what they want, and that is objective games over and over again. Yes, Sunshine may have outplayed them. Yes, he's just going to do what he can, even expanded the flicker to get the kill. Venus, just couldn't do much from that point.
Really unfortunate, honestly. Like, towards the end, you can see that it's clear that everybody's cooldowns were available. We're basically done for, and they just have to wait it out. Unfortunately, that's when you see Sunshine flickering forward to create create that space and forcing at least for Yue to use his own to trade.
Super Siege gets too much for them though. Blacklist International are completely utilizing this Brody, and Alien is going to be stunned up, and this should be him taken down without the torn apart memory. Utilizing the Brody so well in this game.
It's pretty much all of the first tier defense towers that has been taken down. Blacklist International will get full control of the river line, and the Lord will be popping out in 50 seconds. FIMP will want to reclaim this.
That's the talk. Kazooie going to be locked down, doesn't have, goes for the flicker anyways, but Edward chases him down with the bravest fighter. 5.5k gold lead when Edward does this much. What are you supposed to do?
I mean, honestly, this is just a massacre, right? Every single time Cura's buffs start coming up, about to spawn Blacklist, have already pushed out the waves. They are literally 10 seconds ahead of FIMP with a lot of the motions that they're making, sometimes earlier than they're supposed to be.
Renner's apathy, why is just being that psycho veteran in the front, taunting Alien up. That's going to be Edward with the bravest fighter. He's going to be disintegrated, and Owl in the back is going to be slain by the assassin Cura. The endless charge was stolen away by Yue. Now it's been a real world manipulation. Sunshine going to be able to dish out some damage, but Wise takes him out. Yue is looking for a maniac. Yue, he got it. A maniac. A savage is waiting in the base, but Kazooie, he's going to be denying it away from Yue.
Yep, can't do any more than that. Maniacs is all we're getting here at MSC. So close to Savages, but no way to secure that pie. Now, as we look at this game, I think FIMP, unfortunately, yes, that was the correct motion. Cura is looking for that backline, looking to one-shot Owl as quickly as possible. But even then, the trades are so efficient, and with how the early game was actually played by Blacklist International, they maintained their lead. Even if they were at a 2k lead, it would only give them, what, 1,500 gold? Let's look at the replay one more time, because as we see Cura finding the angle on the left side of the map and even getting the flicker out of Owl, he one-shots him, but he's so out of position that there's nothing much they can really do. And as FIMP looking to trade back, they are behind. They're so far behind, in fact.
It's really unfortunate that Beatrix thought that he would be safe within the RWM, and I totally understand, right? You brought down the win condition on the side of Blacklist International. There's not going to be a lot of threat. But one thing that FIMP forgot is the fact that there is a 7k deficit.
And the fact that Yue can just steal the endless shards. You want to burst me? Nah, if I'm ahead, I'm bursting your team.
One shot me, one shot you. Doesn't matter who's going to go down first. This inhibitor's mine.
An eye for an eye for a two. FIMP is ready to defend this as much as they can, as Alien is just going to be getting shot.
Oh, they can't even defend. Edward! He gets a two-man stun, and Yue follows it up instantly in the back, finding a double kill as RWM comes down to lock Apex 47. Owl, one more shot, but Apex is able to escape that real-world manipulation from Kazooie. That's the only thing that can stop them in a way. He's coming down as he's able to actually immobilize it. Look at the damage coming from Owl, melting down Apex 47 like it's nothing. Down to Endless Charge, doing nothing to Wise. He walks back up. Cura's looking for a kill right now. He jumps in, but it's a bait! It's a bait, and it's a time journey to lock him up. 11 minutes is all Blacklist needs. First against Todak, now against Fireflux. Impunity.
Great cleanup overall, efficient trades, and the best part, their communication still in tip-top shape. Their baits towards the end, was that absolutely necessary? Not at all, but they did it anyways.
I gotta have to say, US, IMU, that uptime, it constantly coming out, Eternal Shards or RWM, these ultimates are always so crucial to these team fights, and he's not holding on to them. He finds the opportunity, and he's very much ready to unleash them.
The best part is that he wants to maximize the slow of the IMU, just because, hey, you're going to try and run away, you're trying to camouflage, no problem, slow you down just enough, and then one-shot you immediately after.
I know that guy, someone in the crowd. I don't know where I met him before.
Cute, in matter of fact. All right. Overall, Blacklist had a strong game. And I think, especially for FIMP, if they want to start recovering from this, they need to start fixing their early game. Because again, with a crowd of this magnitude supporting Blacklist International, it's very easy for the mental to start showing cracks in your gameplay, similar to RSG versus Burnex Flash.
I gotta have to say, right, when it comes down to FIMP versus Blacklist International just kind of have like this leash onto FIMP. Wherever FIMP tries to be aggressive, they just can't seem to work that out. They go aggressive, but in the end of the day, it's not necessarily that. They already crossed that line. The aggressive became, well, overextending.
Well, I don't know. If we're talking about overextension, I'm looking back at Wolf here. what can you talk about this game? Like how it couldn't have gone any better for FIMP, could it?
You know, it's a lot of people really have tried this Hilda going up against the Blacklist International, specifically the Tigi. And you know, for our simple brains as the casters, you know, simple brains about the game, we can definitely think that it will not work. And in practice, it doesn't. You can see that it worked against other teams, but not particularly Blacklist International. There's another layer to it, though. The AA Mon. You saw. Some flashes of good stuff, but man, just having Radiant Armor and Bloodlust Axe on this Lapu Lapu is already enough. But who's the... Oh, well.
Wow, perfect timing.
Perfect. 5-0-9. Radiant Armor picked up no damage from the AA Mon. Gideon, what can you say about the Lapu Lapu? Edward Lapu Lapu.
I mean, the Edward Lapu Lapu, he played it as good as anybody can play it, right? Makes sure that he gets the Fury Hammer relatively early on, and then immediately starts specking in towards that Radiant Armor, knowing that he's going to be quite vulnerable when he tries to go in with the Bravest Fighter. So he has to make sure that he stays healthy, make sure that he's not feeding over into the Amod's big express trade, because if he starts getting one kill, the second and third just come that much easier, and eventually the snowball is just too much, and you don't have that tempo. I mean, look at the heat map so far, right? As soon as Edward is unlocked from his lane, I don't have to stick with glue anymore, and I can start playing those smaller skirmishes, the 3v3s, the 2v2s, and then even in bigger team fights, that's when you see him jump forward. Like, look at how aggressive he is 5 minutes into the game. He's already walking into enemy territory.
It feels as though Blacklist International knew what they wanted to do, right? Against aggressive lineup, do we just go full out defensive? Edward just needs to unlock himself and make his way all across the map.
I mean, he's got to corral his opponents, right? And I think that's something that Blacklist took away facing against Torak, right? They need to make sure that the side lanes are clear, but more importantly, put so much pressure that they're forced back in towards their jungle and eventually shoved into the mid lane. Now, there were good moments from FIMP, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, these are the outplays that we expect to see from teams who place against Blacklist. And I would say, if I had to give Blacklist a title, they would be the gatekeepers, right? The gatekeepers, because if your macro is not on point, if your micro is good, that's like, okay, you need a combination of both to really take on Blacklist.
I can really feel that in this particular game, because there were so many times where you cannot see it coming that FIMP will get a stop at least of Blacklist International. Maybe they'll get a kill, but for some reason, the preemptive flickers coming up from Oh My Venus and towards Bravest Fighter just hitting onto two members, and of course Owl just using the stun of the dash of the stun just to get into position and land a good play, and then outplay AM1 at the end. Blacklist International just knew how to play Mobile Legends.
Oh, they really did, right? It's almost like they mastered the basics. I've made that joke twice.
Okay.
Not so original after all then.
I mean, looking at the post-game stats, I think it's very clear. 21-5, 11 minutes so far. In their past couple of games, they've just been ending it within 11 minutes, especially when they have such a snowball on their side. And it's great to see that Wise, I mean, I would love to see Wise go back to his assassin junglers. He's already quite a monstrosity with Psycho Frederick. Imagine if he had Ling or even Lancelot.
It's definitely gonna be sounding crazy to see that happening. But like I said, I mean, or rather, like you said, I would love to see that. Do they have any other, pocket picks, or rather, is there anything, other strategies that FIMP will want to look out for? Because in this game, all aggression is no aggression to this game, because we're looking at Hulled A, 0, 5, and 2. It doesn't seem like there's too much damage going on. He went for Tenacity, one thing that we gotta note for, not necessarily going for the Assassin Emblem, which I would have probably thought they would go for.
Yeah, again, I honestly feel like Fireflux Impunity, they have been forced to experiment. They've been forced to, go out and show their pocket picks before in the group stages, even up against Echo. They really wanted that victory to get to the first seed. Now, for Blacklist, it really does feel like, yeah, sure, we're in the single elimination bracket. This is where all the teams should go all out, but because they're so ahead of the pack, they haven't been revealing anything. They've just been playing the way they do normally, and maybe that's just a strategy, staying solid, but when the Fredrin is open, they will pick it up. They're not going to stray away from that at all. They're not going to go for anything too risky, because why take the risk?
Exactly. And this is, when me and Manjin were walking out when you were taking over the cast, we were talking about, man, this is a Blacklist draft. Owl will just take the Brody, Wise will take the Fredrin, and you have the trio, the Farsa, Eve, and Farsa, Eve, Valentina, that you can see you will play, and they literally got everything that they needed, and it looked like really like a blacklist kind of draft. Is this the way did FIMP allow them to do it, or it's just that it happened?
I think right now, Wise is super comfortable with Fredrin, right?
Okay.
Overly comfortable to a certain
Overly
extent.
comfortable.
I will feel so because right now he plays a lot of Fredrin. In fact, 22 games in MPLPH, of 14th of which was a win. There are definitely many other heroes such as Guinevere, Alice, Kaja, Baxia, and so on and so forth. I think that if FIMP would want to capitalize on that, making sure that the Fredrin is no longer possible, it would be nice.
Maybe if there's a big patch, maybe that could change, right? Because we know that the 2023 Project Next update is coming soon, starting from the 27th of June, the revamped emblem system, the Eruditio story, which Gideon likes, brand new hero, generous events, and remarkable bonuses are about to meet everyone. Log into the game if you want to know more about this new update. Man, I'm excited about that one. Should we do a... Wait, now I just realized.
What?
Wait, this is the perfect panel for the SIMP podcast.
Welcome to the SIMP podcast. What does SIMP stand for, Wolf?
Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines.
So the simp table is here. Welcome everybody to the simp cast. That's the tagline. I love the tagline.
All right.
But honestly, with everything that's going on and considering that Blacklist is not evolving as much as we would like them to, we've seen adjustments, but we haven't seen a new phase of Blacklist.
I think we don't need to see a new phase of Blacklist. If they keep performing like this with the old style, right? I will say, I think Blacklist definitely have something in their pocket, right? They're just waiting for the right moment to show it up. Because again, if everything goes well, why show it out now?
Yeah, there are some arguments to that for sure, but I definitely agree with you. No need to change anything if you are winning, and if you are winning like in a very decisive manner. But it's gonna be a tall order for FIMP for sure. I think that we have prepared something for you guys to know more about this team as they are facing up against Blacklist International.
I don't know, we are friends since like 6 years, so maybe that's our chemistry.
Genelde ya hepimiz aslında ya böyle bir kişi yok. Hani genelde koçumuz oluyor ama hepimiz birbirimizi seviyoruz o yüzden bir aradayız sürekli.
Kesinlikle Apex olabilir. Direkt ortaya atlıyor ve herkes sakinleştirip çözüm buluyor.
İşte söylemek istediğim bol şans diliyorum. Karşılarında çok güçlü bir takım var. Geçen seneden daha güçlüyüz. İyi olan kazansın. Değil yani ister istemez bir gerginlik oluyor. Sahne heyecanından dolayı sanırım olan. Ama şu an gayet iyi bir durumdayız. Yani şu tartışmalarla dalacak bir takım değiliz.
Ya kesinlikle bir aile ortamı var çünkü biz yıllardır birlikteyiz. Takımımızda ne kadar değişiklik olsa da diğer arkadaşlarla yıllardır birlikte oynuyoruz. Başka takımda oynadık, şimdi bir arada toplandık, birkaç yılda birlikte oynayacağız. Kısaca çok uzun yıllara dayanıyor ilişkimiz.
M4 ilk tecrübemizde onlara karşı kaybetmiştik. Şimdi ise biraz daha güçlüyüz. Kadromuzda birkaç değişiklik var ama eskisine göre çok daha güçlüyüz. Yenebileceğimizi düşünüyorum.
We are feeling good. We will be waiting for playoffs.
Blacklist'te başarılar diliyorum çünkü biz çok iyi bir takımız. Onlar için biraz zor bir maç olacak. Blacklist, bizi bekle, biz geliyoruz.
Welcome back to the Sim Table. That was an amazing video and a heartwarming video for sure. And they look like they are prepared. They know that sometimes teams will argue. They say that, but they have a solid ground when it comes to like holding the team together. And that's from Apex 47. That performance, however, in game number 1. Is it because of his playstyle or was it just because of the hero?
Honestly, I feel that it's about their playstyle, right?
Wow.
There is a lot of differences that they have did, and let's not forget about the fact that they had to replace Rosa. Rosa made a huge debut at M4, and to be honest, I myself thought that FIMP might not go far without Rosa.
Same.
Yeah, I think, Rosa was that standout player that we were all keeping our eyes on, something that was holding Incendio's supremacy together, which they were known as in M4, and also knocking out a Malaysian team, no big deal, right? But then we come over back into MSC, and the fact is, right now, it feels like they are only at half their strength. They're not in that position where the meta actually, the meta does favor them as they can be very diverse, but there's a level of polish that you need to take on Blacklist International.
And we simply just didn't see that level of polish in game number 1. Now, my question right now is the fact that, my question is, was that a strategy that they want to start game number 1 by giving Blacklist International their comfort picks and then reading them as they go? Something that a lot of teams have tried to do, or Kyoshi last year, but it didn't work out for them. We don't need to talk about that. Anyways, Firefox Impunity, this is how they take best of 5s, especially. You can really see in the best of 5s over, they play best of 3s as well. They like to read. They are slow starters into the game, right? And especially after watching that insider video, now I'm even more of a believer that, we might see a better Firefox Impunity in game number 2. Maybe they take away the Fredrin, they do something different. Just don't do the Toda Kilda.
Yeah. All right. Be careful what you say.
The PTSD
in this table. Be careful what you say in this table. But you talked about insider information. I've heard that Matt Galsef, the coach now for FIMP, is he studied every single game in MPL Philippines because they're big fans of the MPL Philippines before M4 and now coming into MSC, and they feel that they are really prepared for that. It looked like they were prepared because they picked up the AA Mon, but I do feel that it was probably far too early to be picked up. Like third pick AA Mon.
I mean, generally, even if we're thinking about come on as an assassin, right? You're looking for those early kills. You're trying to look for kills on specifically anybody who's squishy. In this case, it's supposed to be the queen, right? But notice the way that Blacklist plays. They look for that priority, sometimes even forcing priority when not necessary, just to make sure that the queen isn't up front. And that's when, King Y starts walking up, sees the Amon, is like, no. There's no way you're getting remotely close to the queen. The most we'll give you is Owl.
That's what you get. But they did take out Owl I think just literally one time in a big team fight.
In the middle.
Yeah, in the middle. But then again, we're gonna be looking at other ingredients here. I mean, we already talked about Edward. Yue was so good in this game though.
Yue was amazing, but what I actually want to touch on is a little bit on Owl, because Yue was able to snowball, but the fact of the matter is, the way they were able to snowball early on was that gold lane, right? Yue, sure, Owl, sure, wasn't really able to get a solo kill early on, but the pressure is all you need on the Brody. The fact that, this matchup is a skill matchup, you add a Diggy, and it's no longer a skill matchup. The Beatrix is completely zoned away, free hits, free farm for the Brody, getting to that first BOD, I believe, and chunking turrets down. Once you get that gold lead from the gold buff or the gold turret minion, and then you transition over with the lane swap, that's how you control the game, and Blacklist are just pros at doing this.
I mean, when we were looking at Hilda, right, if we want to really target that Diggy that's constantly babysitting onto the gold lane, the Hilda got to do something about it. However, the Hilda has pretty much been all over the map trying to stick to their MO, be aggressive in the jungle, hold wide back.
We'll see if there will be adjustments for Firefox Impunity as we head to game number 2. Blacklist did pick up the first pick in game number 1. Now, will FIMP still stick to the red side? We're about to find out. I do feel that the Diggies should be just banned out here, and it will be the case of Firefox Impunity now on the red side, second pick, and that's the first pick of Valentina. Gentlemen, what do you think will be the answer for Firefox Impunity?
Well, I think if Firefox Impunity want to do anything, number one, they probably might want to take Fredrin out of the hands of Wise, because again, he has been such a good foundational block for Blacklist International. Don't allow him to be able to walk up on this tanky hero. Don't allow him to be able to snowball and run you down, and then maybe you can start alleviating this pressure from that mid lane, because at the end of the day, you know that Yue is going to have somebody to protect him.
In that case, Fredrin is open. I'm actually surprised that the Novaria is a priority ban for FIMP, which kept it from Blacklist, but wow, Minotaur and Arlet. Currently, Edward holds the highest KDA among all players with a 19.33. 19 average KDA. He is followed by his teammate Yue with a total of 16. Man, Blacklist International stat padding.
Honestly, I'm relatively curious as to why FIMP is not willing to snag that Frederick away. I mean, yes, for Kira, for the MCT, he's only played the Frederick once, but I can say the same thing for Alice, Martis, Joy, Granger, Amon. They all are one game. So it's fair to say Kira can play the Frederick, but they choose not to.
I think Kira is confident in his capabilities to play around it, right? Again, their bigger priority is the fact that they've already banned out the Dig. You might as well take the Minotaur now and start affecting them here and make that impact in that first phase, and then force Blacklist International to try and answer them in the second part, which they have an advantage in because they get first pick in the second phase.
Yeah, and now without the Kaja and the Franco, the joy was a pretty open pick for Blacklist International, especially after FIMP not even bothering to take it. They took on Arlott and Minotaur. Understandably so, but that means that Edward will once again have a great time in this game.
And you can understand now, whoa, okay, that's a Herod pickup. Hey, this Toadop did this to game 2 anyways, or game 3 actually. Fireflux immunity, right. The reason I believe they went for the Minotaur and the Arlott now, it's very, very understandable. They want to just deny all the picks coming in from Venus, and I honestly expect some more bans of Venus, or they might just go show some respect over to the gold lane. Owl, especially after picking up the Herod here, maybe they want to just lock down some of the heroes that can actually escape from the Herod.
Though, it's always a difficult game. Going up against Blacklist, especially when Edward Joy is playing it. Without any kind of lockdown, how do you answer this? Do you go back to something like a Esmeralda? But I mean, you don't have access to it because you already picked up the Arlott. So.
That's the thing, right? When you're looking at the way, when you're looking at possible outs here, I think Blacklist International probably going to stick to what they already know, right? Ideally, they get the Beatrix. I don't know whether FIMP is going to let them have it. I'm guessing that they're going to ban it out regardless of what they do. But then we see the response, right? Blacklist International making sure that these assassin picks go down and they go down fast, because even when you have the Joy can only do so much unless she has a snowball, or I don't know if they start to feel a little crazy here, and I would love it. I would love it just to see Wise be like, sorry, Edward, this is mine for a day. Maybe just for one game. Just
why not?
Give us a little bit more.
Yeah. That is not a far possibility, by the way, Gideon. It has been done before. Blacklist International, specifically Wise, even when he's picking up, 22 games on the Fredrin in one single season, he is willing to go for those pocket strategies, like Jungle Valentina, for example, the Atlas, where, we can expect that. But, okay, now heading into the second phase of the draft, how do you now correct this if you're FIMP? How do you actually deal with both the Fredrin and the Joy, apart from having this Herod, for example?
Yikes. I mean, right now, they do, with the Minotaur, with the Arlott, they do have a very steady way to initiate into a fight, and they are pretty much all wanting to go all in onto Blacklist International for one big fight. So they will want to toss all their ultimates out. Wombo combo, bunga perhaps. As such, they should probably stick to what they have on their MO and just continue to grab onto the opponents. There could even be a chance that Minotaur could go to the jungle. I would love to see them picking big ultimates such as Atlas even. They can at least work with some kind of pickoffs.
Alright, so right now, for Fireflux Impunity, they banned out 4. And they picked 1, Minotaur, right? So technically 5 denied picks away from Venus. But my concern right now is, again, they left the Lancelot open. This usually sets up, especially now, I am even more of a believer in the Granger. Usually, and F4, remember, well, they need some more physical damage. There's no way they're going to be relying on the Arlott solely to deal damage here in this game. And the fact that, again, they completely disregarded, they completely ignored the Lancelot, that to a lot of people is the answer to the Fredrin. It shows me that they want to go for something bold. Exactly, the Granger. They ignored it. They didn't want to pick it, Fireflux.
Wait, what's left for Venus? Only the Lolita. That's all I can think of. Is there anything else that they pick, especially after the Fam is denied pick?
I think they are forcing Blacklist to pick a Lolita. Maybe that's why they are picking a Harith for themselves.
I suppose, because there is the angle where it's like, yeah, Blacklist International are going to play like team fight, but they also have the aspect of, hey, Edward, you can start pushing into the side lanes with this Joy and generally win your 1v1s, no problem. But how are you going to disengage? So the Lolita gets picked, we expected to see the Beatrix, and now we bounce back over to FIMP.
Blacklist International's owl is actually not a real owl.
Oh, wait, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought he was an owl.
I thought he was an owl too.
I thought
Thank
we
you
were on
so
the
much.
set of Alien Invasion.
Oh wow, that was the most interesting stat we saw today. But here's another interesting fact: there could be the potential of a
Swing.
well,
Fanny!
I would have said
Not bad.
Hayabusa, but bad thing. Just flip it up. It's gonna be the Fanny, and everybody's happy about this. Are you guys happy about this last
Yes.
pick though?
Of course. Of course. Whenever
Okay.
you talk about assassins, there are two that come to mind, highly mechanical ones. Lancelot and as well as Fanny. Some may say even the Ling before it even came out. But at the end of the day, they needed damage, and this is a great source.
When I spoke to Incendio Supremacy at M4, back
Okay.
then they were called Incendio Supremacy.
Yeah, okay.
They said they were just capped by their mechanics. Macro-wise, they can think, just like the C teams.
Okay,
So
okay,
now
okay.
they're saying the Fireflux Impunity is better than Incendio Supremacy. So maybe this is one of the ways to prove to the world that mechanically, maybe now they are on par as well.
Well, we don't have to wait any longer. It's game number 2 for sure. Blacklist International going up against FIMP, and the Fanny was picked up. Abstract. Now, y'all take it away.
As we move on in Land of Dawn, approaching game number 2. Blacklist International versus FIMP as the creeps march us right out.
Mobile Legends.
All right, Gideon, I have a simple question here, right? A lot of people have been able to make this Fanny work against Blacklist, but how do they make it work?
Most of the time when we start thinking about Fanny, right, we're talking about that early game pressure. We're trying to look for ways to kind of set up dives. So we have to start thinking about strong and weak-sided lanes. And in this particular case, it's going to be down on the bottom side of the map. But that's why Blacklist are sending Oh My Venus to make sure that Sunshine doesn't find that early aggression, doesn't find that early trade, and forces him back. The response for FIMP, send Apex back down.
So ultimately, what Blacklist International wants to have is a 2 versus 2 in the bottom lane and forces Apex 47 to, not give that much of a vision. Technically speaking, Fanny, once he's pretty much got his purple buff, he can pretty much zoom everywhere, and if FIMP doesn't really quite have that kind of understanding, it will not be that good.
Okay, that's a lot of damage placed onto Cura. Man, didn't expect that burst coming in, but Cura seems like he is comfortable on the Fanny. That is one of the concerns for a lot of people playing the Fanny on stage. Will you be able to make these mechanics, these cables work?
I mean, even if he's not getting these kills, right, at the end of the day, he is influencing.
They're going in again with the cables. Wise gonna be targeted down. Doesn't have the Appraiser's Wrath just yet, but now finds the stacks. The Appraiser's Wrath will be ready for him as Alien jumps in once again. Just there. Oh, the flicker from Alien, and he's gonna be able to fight for his blood. Maybe, just maybe a double kill, but Edward is able to escape. Fireflux Impunity, already a very, very different playstyle here.
Oh, spicy stuff. I mean, immediately we start seeing the rotations. Immediately we see a potential dive, and Edward, he can't get back in there.
Cura, though, under the turret, will try to burst your way down, and it's going to be Kazue, who barely is unable to find the range.
I really like the very fact that FIMP, they have got Sunshine and Kazue actually gonna be on the mystery shop. They want to get online a lot earlier. They're probably wanting to look for that snowball potential, riding all of that hope onto Cura.
I mean, yes, they are trying to make sure that they scale up as fast as they can, but it's the fact that they also have that Fanny, right? You're not expecting Fanny to do it all by herself.
That's right.
You need to have a couple of people to walk up. Now, these battles is where it's going to get difficult, because keep your eyes on Apex. You could turn these around.
All right, that's a little bit on blast, charged in Venus, but it seems like Fireflux Impunity, they understand that their composition is built around picking these members off in the early game, utilizing Fanny, so they will just ignore the first neutral objective.
Even in these cases, right, we're hoping that Cura is able to kind of speed up the game, he's able to farm hard, but when you're up against a tank, and especially when you're up against Wise, he immediately is looking for that level lead. He wants to make sure that he starves his enemy opponent jungler out.
So currently Wise is at level 6, Cura is level 5. We're not really looking at too much of a gold lead, despite the fact that FIMP did manage to get a single kill, while Blacklist International gets that hurdle pick. In the meantime, right above the top line.
Okay, Cura's gonna be locked down right now as Venus tries to go for the stun. Apex 47 will pop in. A defensive Minute Furious. Dimona Blast gets charged in, but a good flicker from Kazue to deny it off of Venus. Still a flicker burnt out. Venus thought there was someone in the bush, but it turns out Fireflux Impunity are again just avoiding team fights.
Yep, they don't need to interact with them right now. They're waiting for items item power spikes, and especially if we're talking about item power spikes, we need to look at Sunshine right now. Currently level 5 against Owl, but he's struggling to walk out, right? Because we see time and time again, oh, if the Queen isn't in the mid lane, where is she going to be? Down by the bottom side.
Perhaps just running down onto the opponent's jungle will be the best case. Unfortunately, Kira didn't really quite manage to steal the bubble buff.
Oh, and Aliens can be baited in, actually, now with the final stocks as well. Aliens should fall. And Blacklist International claim an equalizer kill in the 4th minute of the game. They might actually look for an invade even here into the enemy purple buff. But Kazua is able to clear it out. Apex 47 is able to just give vision to Firefox Impunity.
Generally rather passive, and that's supposed to be the way that FIMP is going to be playing this composition. We're expecting Farmers to start stacking for as long as possible until he's able to get that early. I'm guessing he's going to go for the scaling type type item build, probably going Pocket Destinies. If he wants to go for something to stack up a little bit faster, even can go for the Enchanted Talisman, that's generally up to him. He's got the performance for it, but now we look at the next upcoming turtle up on that top side, and FIMP, they want to snowball through bottom. What? Blacklist, they've got to read.
Oh, good read by Venus, opening up the map once again, but that's going to be the knockdown onto Venus right now. The holds are stolen away. Mid Fury connecting, and Venus should fall here to Kira. What with the Bruce Passion right now, Sunshine pops his on force. Up top, a trade, a good one for Blacklist International. Again, playing for the objectives.
FIMP are very much on the ball. They're constantly trying to get themselves ahead of the action on the side of Blacklist International. However, they are also not paying a lot of attention onto the objective. We've got Blacklist International, they've got 2 already so far, and bottom lane.
Command force popped. Sunshine defensive. Defensive, very defensive. Blacklist International pushing pace right now. So it's going to be actually just ambush here with a force called Ultra out. Kira's looking for the back line, but it's not going to be able to find you as he dodges away from the cable. He's waiting for it. Oh, right the snipe, but it's not enough to take him down as the sun comes through. Kira is able to escape. It should just be Blacklist International with a free siege down below, and yes, it will. Perfect execution.
I am just, heavy deep breathing there, deep breathing. I thought that snipe for sure. He was holding it for a long time. He wanted to make sure he was real accurate with that one. But as we explained before, FIMP, they're going to take their time with this. And yes, bottom tier 1, that means that Beatrix is on lock. So now the initiative is on Blacklist International to keep the momentum up. Just like in game number 1, we saw that tier 1 fall, and instantly the lane swap king comes after. And Wise, look at him, Psycho Predator, 2 levels up. He's going to keep doing this.
It's really unfortunate for the side of Fanny. Doesn't really have the orange buff to pretty much work with, while Wise is just threading within their jungles. Now, they're gonna have to deal with the threat of having a Joy that's prompting in the bottom lane, or perhaps even the Beatrix all the way out the top lane, farming, trying to bring down the first defense turret. Where do they even put all their emphasis on?
Well, if I was Blacklist International, I'd definitely be going to that top side. But FIMP, they can recognize this. They're like, okay, we saw how this worked out in the last game. Maybe we can just slow down that top side and look to catch somebody off that river, because in about 9 seconds, the next turtle is going to come through. The Blacklist still have to choose one of these objectives.
Ooh, wow. Minion Fury with a flicker from Yue, trying to just catch Sunshine, but it was a good read. Sunshine playing it again, just defensively. 6 minutes in, now to 7. Blacklist International holding on to that gold lead as Firefox Impunity look for Prio for the first time ever that they will contest for a neutral objective. Apex 47 now with a Minion Fury flicker combo. 5 more members versus there to grab Black Stars in. Venus finds 3. Bakura is on the back, just dodging away. Wise now taunting up, disengaging, but Firefox Impunity, they might have found a way back into the game.
You can definitely see the difference of Minoan Furies there. Yue, it's clear that he doesn't play Minotaur that often in comparison to Apex, who times that 3rd hit so very well.
I thought that FIMP might possibly get a lot more out of the Minoan Fury. 4 men out, I thought FIMP had the damage, but it makes sense, right? They're still waiting for the perfect time. Eventually bring in the action, because that damage is just not quite there.
Retry battle right now, and it might just be disastrous for Kira, but that's going to be Wise who steals it away with a Retribution.
They're punishing him. They're using Wise's lead. This is what I talk about when we think about multiple outs, right? For this mid-game right now, Owl, he's going to have the time of his life, but he can't necessarily push the tempo. Wise can, and he's going to keep on starving out Kira for the majority of this game. 2 levels up. You want your purple buff, you're going to have to fight me with your entire team, which is exactly what Blacklist wants, especially when Apex doesn't have his own ult.
Well, so pretty much we're going to be expecting top lane.
Numina Blast and the Bennett's Rage, a late Ultra from Kazue, not able to save his roamer. But I do want to talk a little bit about that turret falling in the bottom lane, because that was the reason they started rotating and invading.
That's why it's trigger points, right? Trigger points every single time. Blacklist follows a code. People that are trying to break, yes, it follows the fundamentals, but the adaptation on top of that is what sets them apart from everybody else. Oh, God!
Whoa! Solo kill! Utilizing the Master Assassin talent emblem. But look at top lane right now. Kazue trying to bring Wise back with the Channel Stampede, but Wise will just say, I'll walk and dash towards you. Now with the taunt. Having full stacks for the Appraiser's Wrath. Gonna go and steal away the orange buff. But down below, Kura will be able to pick up a turret to trade it away. Appraiser's Wrath was used up.
Wise truly does not care about the fact that he is in opponent's territory. He's very beefy, and unfortunately, FIMP just doesn't have the damage to work with him. FIMP's damage really shines in the backline.
This is the buff freeze, by the way, that Blacklist are doing right now. Oh, it's an early retry from Kura, and that could be disastrous. Notice how the purple buff of Blacklist is not being touched at all.
No way to rotate, and especially with the neutral objective of Lord being on the top side. If anybody tries to go for Wise's purple, there's just no way. They will be spotted out, and there's no way to flank at the same time, right? They're covering all of the ground here, and FIMP, you know, considering everything that's happened, I'm surprised that Blacklist are only 1.6k ahead. FIMP, they've got everything going for them, right? They've got 2 turrets. They've also got a little more kills.
This is called the buff freeze. This is what Blacklist like to do up against a Fanny or anyone who is very reliant on the purple buff. They kill up the big purple buff, but leave the small one so it doesn't respawn, and they continuously just invade to the enemy jungle to take the purple buff away.
Making sure that you don't have it, especially if you are an assassin that relies on it. Now, looking on that top side, again, Blacklist, it looks like they want them to walk up and fight.
Well, it's just pretty much Blacklist International just playing the Lost Guards. They're trying to do whatever that they can to just drag it on for a little while longer, waiting for FIMP to eventually make a mistake. They want FIMP to engage onto them while Blacklist International does their signature counter-engage. FIMP just can't find the avenue, and they probably just want to wait for the Kazue to actually make his way in. Or perhaps Apex 47 to go in first with a Minoan's Fury. But FIMP just taking their own sweet time. They're biding their time, and only when the log gets a lot lower, then they will probably go for it.
Now Blast with a flicker. Apex 47 is going to fall with the Bennett's Rage used up. A lot of ultimates.
As much as they want to try, Apex is still going down. With this Lord being slain, this is the next trigger point for Blacklist International. They have their wing con going for them, and now the snowball is going to continue from here on until about the 14th minute of the game. It's not the IMP. They've been playing relatively passive in the early. We've seen them trade pretty evenly during the mid, and as we start rotating, especially when we're transitioning into the later stages of the game, right, we have to keep our eyes on people like Sunshine. How is he really, realistically trying to get in on this fight? They need to bait out, number one, the Numenon Blast. And Owl, I don't think he's going to be in a position which really compromises him unless he really flubs or makes a mistake. Or the secondary engage tool. Alien with the final slash, maybe with a flicker, could look for something big.
I don't think that FIMP have got the item that they want in order to deal with the front lines, or perhaps even onto the back lines. Kura, one of the main damage dealers on the team, don't have his buff, and they rely a lot onto that cable. So even if FIMP has got all of those setups coming in from Kazue, or perhaps even from Apex 47, or perhaps even from Alien, how exactly are they supposed to bring the mid lines, or perhaps the back lines down? Sunshine is not quite there yet. 1-0-1, don't have much of that pressure. But Blacklist, every single one of the players, every single one of these heroes have pressure.
They're going to have to scale then. I mean, Alien, ooh, final slash to the top rush here. Just to try and make it work. And even for Kura, right? It's difficult for him to farm in his own jungle. Blacklist have that level of influence over him.
And that should be the red tree again from Wise. He picks up the purple buff. There's not much Farm Flux Impunity can do at this point, but just wait it out. Turtle in their base, looking for trades across the board. And this is the risk of bringing a Harith into the gold lane. Did you see the difference in gold between Beatrix and Harith?
Huge. Quite a significant difference here. But let's not forget, right? Kazue, he's still stacking up pretty quick. The fact that he hasn't died, meaning that his charges are slowly becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until he falls down. That's when we're expecting to see him start to fall off. So they still have an opportunity in these big 5v5 fights, and if they can kind of clump them up together with the final slash into the Minoan Fury, maybe there's an opportunity there. But at the end of the day, Cura, it's not like it's up to him, right? He just has to wait it out.
But even over time, Kazue's fall off will start to get a lot more apparent. And Blacklist International is still taking their time.
A blast from Venus all the way to the back line right now, because we're still able to survive. That's a terrifying of an Fury as well. That's a three-man knockup coming in. That's Venus taken down. Cura's looking for more. Doesn't have the energy necessary to look for more, but they will take it. A 1-0 in favor of Fireflux Impunity.
Now, notice that Blacklist International, if this was a team that was dead even with them, and especially if Fanny maybe had a purple buff, I don't think they would have even tried to attempt to go for such an aggressive play. But the fact is, they've got all the resources in the world, and they know that it's a clear disadvantage. Wait, hold on.
No call alter. Edwards using it. Sunshine's gonna be gunned down, and Edward finds the kill with the rhythm and the vengeance. Now Alien is the next target on the primary list, and Owl takes him out with an Amir's passion, swaps out to Renner's apathy. He wants to look for his snipe here, but nobody's low enough. Meanwhile, down below, Cura is able to pick up 2 turrets, tier 1 and tier 2. Actually, the tier 1 was taken away earlier. Look at Yue, the way they're sandwiching Cura down. The Filipino sandwich, but Cura is still able to escape. He saved the energy, and he bought enough time. Now Blacklist International, they've sent Wise all alone to go for the Lord. Phil, what do?
They can't. They have to give this Lord here, unless Cura is going to try and be a hero, try to be a legend to steal this away. I don't see it realistically happening.
Apex 47 is not looking good at all. The entirety of Blacklist International just wants to zone the entirety of FIMP away.
Oh, Cura has to use the cables defensively. Edward's going to be chased down, but Sunshine can't get that basic attack to reset the second skill, and Wise will just go to town. Yue actually is the one who takes the orange buff.
I mean, Yue has been playing a very hot game since game number 1, coming into game number 2 as well. He's been making sure that he is holding on to these big ticket ultimates, whether it be the Minoan Fury or whether we are seeing him hold on to the Cult Altar. These are insurance policies, right? And you can tell that this time, Blacklist International, they want to fight to win.
Owl indeed. Owl threading the needle. Apex 47 and Alien were in front of him. The fact that he found Sunshine, that was impressive. Cura, again, just having to micromanage these waves without the purple buff. Can you imagine being a walking Fanny?
It's not fun. And in 6 seconds, Wise is going to get another purple buff too.
The Lord is eventually going to be making his way down to the bottom lane. All of the exterior turrets is going to be finding a lot of problems.
Minoan Fury, but the amount of blast is right there. Final Splash cancels it out as Apex 47 is able to flicker out of the range. Alien, through the vengeance, is jumping back and forth, resetting to save that base turret, but in the mid lane, the tier 2 should fall. Doesn't seem like it's gonna fall. As Blacklist, they will go and prioritize. Oh, wow, Owl! They'll go prioritize the purple buff, but yeah, Owl, very rude, he cut me off.
A lot of damage here. I mean, at this point, it's basically, the mid-tier 2 is essentially done for, right? They've got the Beatrix, wait, hold on.
Alien, gone as the final slash though, but the Appraiser's Wrath locks onto him, and he's gonna be forced to commit the flicker out. And Owl, once again, is just sieging. This is why the Beatrix is so prio right now. Once you get that snowball, go! How? Owl is a monster on this Beatrix.
He's real accurate. He's taken a couple of notes from Oheb for sure. Oh, they're going to continue doing this, right? Siege them underneath the turret. Utilize Renner as much as they can and start harassing their opponents underneath their inhibitor turrets.
And this is where the kind of like the snowball begins, right? Blacklist International has mostly been playing very safe, and they are just kind of holding onto the river line. And only once they have gotten more of the objective, they got a second Lord onwards, FIMP just gets completely starved out of food, and there's just not much of that skilling that we want to see. By then, Blacklist International already is way ahead, and with the 7,000 gold ahead, they can pretty much tank up against any shots from FIMP.
I mean, we say that, but also the fact that FIMP is at 44, it means that this gold lead is soon about to end. It really doesn't matter how much gold, unless you're thinking about situational items, which Blacklist needs to start taking full advantage of if they want to close out this game.
If he finds another snipe, that's going to be insane.
Oh, but it doesn't even need to connect Venus with the Numenal Blast and Yue with the Minoan Fury. The combo together right on time as well. How do you get better than this? Blacklist International are playing the cleanest MLBB I have ever seen.
It's like 5 men left, but Sunshine fights himself, take it down.
Bennett's rage to take him
top. The Zamanfor's already popped in. Cura as well finds a tier 2 up top, but it doesn't matter. Blacklist respond to every single play, but they're also able to react and make these proactive movements.
All right, Blacklist agents out there. Somebody has got to draw Wise on Fredrin as Dio because he just walks you down. He's a psycho for a reason. He knows he's strong.
Oh, what do you even do right now? Firefox Immunity, Cura trying to look for an opening to go for that Lord, but he just simply can't. He gets bursted down by UM, Edward, Owl.
You just let it happen for now. You really just gotta let it happen because no matter what they do, Blacklist International is able to stop you in their tracks. They know for a fact that Oh My Venus doesn't have that flicker. Oh, Kira, please get out of here. Your team is gonna need you for this upcoming Lord push. And even when we're looking at the items, right, we're slowly getting to that max. Couple more until we see those final items. But the majority, and especially the core items that are necessary, are there. In comparison to look over to Blacklist International with their 8.7k lead, they can start switching them out however they like.
I was really wanting to hope and see the Sunshine will be able to do a little bit more into the front lines as long as the Zaman Force is available. However, Blacklist International's ultimate bases, and they are just constantly jumping right in and catching FIMP out. The only thing that they can do is just immediately back up and doesn't really have much of a fight.
Oh, he's gonna get it down. Damn! Ow, are you so good? Minute Fury now, Apex 47 is gonna be locked down, but it's not blast. Alien into the mist with a vengeance, but he gets bursted down too quick. Owl getting people down with the Nibiru. He walks on forward. Cura's able to clear out the Lord right now. The Anyways come crashing down. Cura the cables once again. But Owl finds another. He is indeed unstoppable. Owl is the new Filipino sniper. He'll take that mantle from Mohit.
Oh my God. How accurate is he? I don't know what OHEB has told him, but they've got some kind of secret tech there to make sure that they land every single one of those shots. FIMP get closed out of this game. They play passive, but there was never a time where they felt in control of this game at all.
Snipes after snipes after snipes. It would have been amazing to also see Blacklist International playing the NOBAR, yeah? But unfortunately, that's not gonna happen. But Valentina, that play from US, it constantly, like I said before, it's all about IMU. Constantly having a lot of uptime. It's constantly making the fights work out, stealing the Minoan Fury, and echoing right after the big Lolita's Luminant blast.
It's so disgusting. And let's not forget the fact that I feel like Yue and Owl,
the dance,
initially when they...
the dance!
Every single time, every international tournament, Manjin, you know he's going to get the Filipinos riled up and knows how to show his support to his teams. But yes, I think the rookies right now, they feel really comfortable on the international stage because they weren't playing like this at the very beginning.
Wait, Alberto, taking away the Filipino sniper tag from OHEB to Owl. Do you think that is actually what is happening now?
Well,
that's a bold claim.
I thought I was like, when I was in the game, I wanted to say that earlier, but I'm like, nah, you know what? It takes more. But then he did that in the final moment, and I'm sold. Take it. Just take it now. Take it.
I can't blame you. The way that they played it. By the way, this is a game where there was a lot of deny. You yourself have mentioned it. Four bans and 1 deny pick.
Technically 6 deny picks now, because the fairness was taken away as well.
That's true. Then, they still pick up the Lolita, and oh my Venus was so good at that hero.
I honestly thought that the Harif would have been able to do a lot more, right? Yeah. Even though it kind of seems like a bit like, okay, we ban all of these, we pick up the Harif, and then you pick up the Lolita.
MVP. No, I think this is uncontested. Look at that. 6-1-1 connection with the ultimate. He's really on point with the sniper. Gideon is... What else could we say about the MVP of the game?
That he's comfortable, that even when he's up against a matchup where generally it gets a little bit difficult, especially in those early stages, the fact that Owl is feeling this comfortable and this good about himself, he is finding his own pathway here in the international tournaments. He is brushing off that greenness and really turning into a veteran. Because look, the fact is, he was dominating the early game against this Harith, and he continues to carry that lead all the way once the trigger points happened for Blacklist.
There's just constantly many moments where Blacklist International completely breaks down the ability of Kyura to even make his way to assassinate Owl. Time and time again, Owl was just left completely unattended, and Blacklist International took this game by the neck and allowed Owl to roam around completely freely.
And that beautiful slug coming up from Venus, then followed up by a stolen or copied Minnow and Fury. And I wanna put your. Whew, that was nasty.
See, okay, no.
Okay.
Just enjoy the moment right now.
Listen,
Look at the snipes. Look at the snipes.
Watch out for the normal attack on the sniper. Watch out.
This is it.
This is it. Owl. There it is.
Here it is.
Yeah.
This one?
Oh, wow.
I couldn't even see the line. Not gonna lie, I couldn't see the line at all.
Because that's how accurate he is. He's making
He
sure
doesn't need the line.
Yeah, he doesn't even need the line. Literally, even if Munton decided, you know what, let's take away the cross. Well, it's not really a crosshairs. The laser sight, essentially, right? The guiding line to show the projectile. I think Owl would still hit that no problem.
It feels like he's playing a first-person shooter. You know, it just feels like he has everything correct.
Yeah, the settings. The flick of the wrist.
Flick of the wrist.
The flick of the wrist. Hey, who knows? They might even add gyro to it for all we know. He's holding his phone up there. It's like, I can still hit this.
Whip his entire body from one side to another.
Oh my God. 12-6. Blacklist International felt like a very slow game. Even when it went to almost 20 minutes, kind of felt to me that it was Blacklist's game all along. There were some flares of brilliance coming out from FIMP, but overall, Blacklist International, they have controlled the map.
I mean, it's not only control over the map, but they've also played to a very similar playstyle in Malaysia before. They don't want to get backdoored again. They don't want any of that crazy nonsense. They're making sure that when they are collapsing onto their enemies, they are checking the boxes, the strong fundamentals. And I mean, mastering the basics literally in his name, making sure that there is no outs, no angle that FIMP can actually get through. Purple buffs. Every single one has been taken away after the 8th minute. Sideways, always handled. And I mean, maybe in game number 1 there was a punishment from Sunshine, but other than that, they still continue to press their advantages and collapse into towards the mid lane.
You really, I mean, okay, I'll just tell you guys, all right? I was spoiled a little bit by Wolf, because he showed me the purple buff freeze, and you were really excited about it, so talk to us about it.
You know, like you said, it was one of the go-to plays that Blacklist International does, because they always play up against Fanny and Ling, and people will think that, oh, this is the way to go against Blacklist International, surely. And they have so many layers of defenses that one layer is that purple buff freeze, because it really is so annoying to play against.
Remind me if I'm correct about this. Season 9, as well as Season 10, they did this pretty often. Season 11, I'm not 100% sure. You can double check me on that one.
I have to check it back, but I'm fairly certain that Seasons 9 and 10, they did that.
Very, very often as well. So now that we have a more diverse meta, at least it's good to see that they have kind of, filled in the textbook. I swear, if Blacklist International came up with the Mobile Legends textbook, everybody would be like, you know what, this is pretty accurate.
I mean, Blacklist International is literally just playing the game as defense is the best offense. Even though they have been, taken down a couple of times, those few kills doesn't seem like FIMP got much value out of.
Yeah, and I think that when it comes to the actual trades that we saw from this game, when it comes to just like FIMP gets a kill, they immediately go to a lane and just push that, maybe get some outer turret energy shields, or maybe a complete turret. When they go for a split push, they just literally rush the turtle, like or the Lord, and just take it away. And the Blacklist International are masters of that trade. And unfortunately, it's like FIMP, they studied how Blacklist International plays. They drafted accordingly. They have their own preparation, but it kind of feels like in action, like in execution, they get beat,
I mean, we did see a lot of similarities, right? As much as we saw Blacklist International trade hyper efficiently against FIMP, Kyura as well at the same time, right? When he's sitting in the jungle, you're expecting him, without the purple buff, what exactly is he supposed to be doing? Right. He's getting side lane pressure still. He is still finding farm wherever he can. He's still making sure that Venus is kept in check to a certain degree, right? Yeah. Pressure Owl, force Venus to kind of move towards that side of the map, and hopefully that opens up a little bit more breathing space for the EXP laners.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, right? I'm looking at it, we're talking about a lot of macro. That's really what's impressive about Blacklist International, because even with a few counters, it's fine. So if Keller is the gold standard of gold laners, they're the gold standard Blacklist of teams.
Wow, of macro of teams. Okay. Oh, maybe we'll discuss that later on, because now I think that we are ready on stage with Mara for an interview.
Back in the crowd, Robbie and I are here with
sorry, Manjin is not here.
Oh, okay.
My name is Manjizi.
Manjizi.
Manjizi.
Manjizi. All right.
Hey, I heard that you are big fans of FIMP, right?
That's right. I've been a fan of them since M4, and this was a very close game. I have to say, this was a very close game, and I think just a little bit more, they could get one over Blacklist.
Wow, that's really interesting. And now my question back to you is that why you think that FIMP will win this battle?
All right. Did you see what Kyura was doing? Did you see Kyura?
I saw.
You see that Fanny?
Yeah.
See that Fanny? If that's not banned, that's dangerous.
Okay. Well,
All right.
they think that they're gonna make a comeback, but Manjizi, it's 2-0.
right.
Do you think this is gonna be a sweep?
I think so. I think we will go home early.
Oh,
Because I think...
are we gonna go home early? How about
Because I think there's a curfew, you know?
There's a curfew.
in
Okay.
Cambodia, so we need to go home early. So
We need-
Blacklist, I think they need to finish this.
they need
right
to finish
now.
this right away
Yes.
with a sweep? Robbie, how about this? Let's get them to settle this out.
Sure.
Leo, what does FIMP have that Blacklist doesn't have? And Manjizi, what does Blacklist have that the other team doesn't have?
I really want to know that too.
We're gonna settle this. All right, you start first.
Okay. Fireflock's Impunity mid laner isn't even really their mid laner. So if it came this close, that means Blacklist should watch their back.
Watch their back. Okay. Okay.
I love that. I love that energy that he has it.
All right. I think, first of all, I want to wish FIMP good luck to game number 3 because this is their dream come true. They commend Blacklist. They're fans of this team. But what Blacklist has is the support of the Filipino people.
Where's the support of the Filipino people?
I can't hear it.
Okay, we got the support of the Filipino people here. What do you guys have?
Hey, what about FIMP? Can I hear your voice?
Let's go!
Let's go,
Make some
FIMP!
noise.
I think I say this
Not
on behalf. I think I say this on behalf of all of the Turkish fans watching, okay? You listen up. Hadi Turkiye!
Oh, what does that mean?
Let's go Turkey.
Oh,
let's go Turkey.
Okay, how do you say let's go? In Tagalog.
Let's go in Tagalog.
Yeah. He said let's go in Turkish. Okay, let's do that for Blacklist.
Tara na!
Pilipinas! Tara na! Laro na natin to! Pilipinas! Okay, if you can big up FIMP, what else can you say about them?
Well, our players are really tall.
Oh!
Okay.
Oh.
They have that advantage.
We have the tallest
He's right.
one.
They're really tall. And if looks could kill, we are dead. Okay, what about Blacklist?
Have you seen Coach Bad Joseph?
Yes. Huge respect for the bad girls. For Team Bad Girls.
If you stand beside
Yes,
the
Bad Girls.
Turkish player,
Yes.
how will you look like?
I will look like his little brother.
You will look like his little brother. All right, he's bigging up FIMP. They're really tall. What about Blacklist International?
We have the W for Wise, win, and we have V for victory, Venus.
V for victory, Venus. Okay.
និយាយពីថាឃើញថាលើកំពុងតែឌឺគ្នាខ្លាំងមែនទែនរវាង Blacklist ជាមួយនឹង FIMP ឃើញថាឥឡូវនេះ fan របស់ Blacklist គឺនៅទីនេះច្រើនមែនទែនហើយកំពុងតែធ្វើការឌឺដងមកកាន់ FIMP ហើយលើយើងនឹងចង់ដឹងថាតើនៅក្នុងការប្រកួត battle ចុងក្រោយថាតើ Turkey ឬក៏ FIMP អាចយកឈ្នះជាមួយនឹង Blacklist បានដែរឬទេចាំទៅទស្សនាទាំងអស់គ្នា
Now for everybody watching at home, let's hype them up, Leo. What do we have to say to watch out for match number 3? Because you think they're going to win this. You think they're going to make a comeback. So what's your message to them?
For all of the fans of Fireflock's Impunity all around the world, not just in Turkey, because I know the way that they've been playing so far in the group stage and in the knockout stage of MSC, they've won some fans over. I'd like to say, keep supporting Fireflock's Impunity. And again, Your opponents are very strong. Blacklist is walking up. Again, Hadi Turkiye Kadilam.
โอเคแฟนរបស់เตอร์กีមិនមែនត្រឹមតែនៅក្នុងเตอร์กีតែមួយនោះទេប៉ុន្តែแฟนរបស់เตอร์กี FIMP around the world នៅជុំវិញពិភពលោកតែម្ដងសូមធ្វើការគាំទ្រទៅកាន់ FIMP បន្តទៀតហើយเตอร์กีឬក៏ FIMP នឹងទទួលបានជ័យជំនះនៅក្នុងថ្ងៃណាមួយជាក់ជាមិនខានស៊ូ FIMP make some noise
Manjizi, how about you? Let's pump up everybody watching right now for Blacklist International.
All right, all the Blacklist agents, they know this. Blacklist! That's it. We're going home early. We're gonna have early dinner.
We're gonna see if it's gonna be a reverse sweep, and we're gonna see if it's gonna be an early dinner for today. So we're gonna go back to the casters. Let's take it to see the world.
Thanks so much, Mara Rabi, and of course, Man GZ apparently, yeah,
Different guy to the guy who, yeah.
looks familiar, looks oddly familiar, and also of course Leo, who is now the Turkish ambassador, so it seems, when it comes to Mobile Legends, when it comes to MPL. Game number 3 upcoming in about 2 minutes in. You know, gentlemen, what else can FIMP do against Blacklist International? What do you think?
I think a lot of this is going to come down to cleaning up their gameplay, especially when it comes down to lane dominance, right? Again, I mentioned this before. When you are going up against Blacklist International, it's not just about the macro, it's making sure that your micro is clean too. So if you have losing lanes, they will take advantage of you. If you don't have that level of fine-tuning and polish, that's when you start losing out in these bigger team fights, right? Because yes, the Turkish are making some smart decisions, very similar to Blacklist International. The only disadvantage is the fact that their winning outcome is apparently a losing lane when it shouldn't be.
I think the other thing that they can look out for as well is to have a more clear direction as to how do they want to get themselves into the win condition. Perhaps hit themselves with a winning matchup when it comes down to the early and the laning phase for their gold laners. When it comes down to the junglers, some early game junglers that doesn't require so much conditioning, or rather so much conditions to be unlocked. Such as, I mean, we're talking about Fanny. You need a purple buff to be unlocked. You need a purple buff to really do exceptionally well. In the meantime, for Lancelot, you are capable of holding down the fort in the early and the mid stages of the game. I thought that would have been a lot better for them.
I think that's a good point, right? I mean, the Lancelot was open in the first phase of bans. It wasn't banned out until the very end for Blacklist International. So, looking at it, I think, yes, they need an answer to the Fredrin. Whether it's a ban... We do have a player swap. Lunar is going to be back now into the mid lane. No longer going to be Kazue here playing for FIMP. But back again to my point. Fredrin, you need to respond to that. You need to have a proper answer. Lancelot, counter pick, deny pick, or ban. Martis even. But at this point, I feel like, again, you try to counter with the Fanny, you try to counter the team composition that sticks together with a split push hero. Blacklist has a way to just outsmart that. So maybe not counter, maybe try to ban it at this point.
Okay, we'll see.
I really want to see them ban the Fredrin because it worked out so well for Blacklist. However, FIMP has already played 2 games of Fredrin, or rather played against 2 games of Fredrin. What if they already have an idea how to deal with this Fredrin for game number 3?
That is a big question, though, because even, you know, a lot of teams have already like faced this kind of, like you said, 22 games in MPL Season 10. So they probably know how Wise operates with that, but they still can't defeat it, which kind of makes me think that maybe that is going to be the answer. By the way, I just want to mention that Lunar subbing in is very important. Now Kazue is not going to be playing. This is the 3rd mid laner for Fireflux Impunity, because unfortunately Rosa will not be available. And Leo have said himself, it's not even the final form of FIMP, but man, they kind of wish that would be the case. Now the adjustment will be Lunar in, so there will be a lot of changes when it comes to dynamic. Do you think that this will change the outcome?
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to changing the outcome, the last time we saw Lunar come in, that's when we saw some funky picks here. You know, Esmeralda in the mid lane, Phoveus even started to show up. Keep in mind that does change the dynamic of the draft, maybe even a little bit. And I don't know how big that binder is that Dexstar carries around, but knowing Blacklist International, I'm sure that they've already calculated the possible outcomes here.
No, they've been carrying that around since M3, right?
No, it's a different one because this is a green binder. And the M3 one was a clear binder. I remember this very distinctly.
Okay.
And yeah, M3 was yellow. It was sponge.
Oh,
yeah, that was right. That was also yellow. So
Yeah, M2 is blue.
Wait, no.
You almost got us.
That's right.
There's an imposter among us.
A previous match recap a 2-0. You can see the priorities now being the Joy, the Frederick, and the Valentina. The last 2 picks will be Lolita. And if you're going to be looking at FIMP, you see the Minotaur, you see the Thermis, the 9 picks, and then, of course, the bands, which you not see here. But we know for sure that Blacklist International, even after 6 attempts on clearing out the heroes for Oh My Venus, they still win with the Lolita. My oh my, the Haka Venus strategy has proven to be a misconception against Blacklist International. It never worked. They tried again this time. Should it be different?
Personally, I don't think just focusing down on Venus is the way to go, right? Again, they have strong laners, like really strong laners. Edward is always reliable. If we're looking at Yue and as well as Al, I think they feel way too comfortable in their own lanes. They're not getting priority bans. They're not getting hard focused down. They get good matchups at the same time. And even 50-50 matchups, they're like, this is better than what we get in MPLPH. Half the time they get targeted down just because they're rookies.
Well, perhaps a little bit of a difference when it comes down to the drafting would make a very good difference. And like we said, having Lunar into the game, it would make it or break it, right? I mean, in the game for MCT Turkey, they don't have this kind of weird picks, right? They played, Luna played Fasa, Kadita, Yves, Joy, Lilia, and Valentina. To be honest, when I was watching MTC, I didn't even know that Luna is an EXP laner until I came here at MSC, where he picked up EXP laner in the mid lane.
Yeah, again, I feel like, yes, that's what they did to qualify for MSC, but you gotta understand, again, to be completely honest, this is a different level, completely. They're up against gods of the game right now, right? In Blacklist International as well. I think they gotta try to change something in the pick phase as well, because they've been sticking on red side as well, right?
So what do you do now if you are actually on the blue side against Blacklist International? What else? What do you stack Fredrin?
Yeah. First pick Fredrin, maybe that could be the way to go.
And like flex into the mid lane, maybe not. But Blacklist International and Farflax Infinity are going to meet again for the 3rd time this series. So far, Blacklist has been owning 2-0. Can it be a different story come game number 3? Let's find out through the draft. And I think that we have not decided yet on the sides.
I mean, I'm already seeing bans on the player's side. I'm expecting to see it, and here we go. Yup, they're swapping sides. FIMP are going to be first pick, Blacklist International on second.
I love right now that FIMP finally banned out onto the Frederick, but remember, back to the question, banning the Frederick is going to slightly change Blacklist International's games. That means the FIMP, whatever that they have did in game 1 and game 2, can't exactly be applied, and you can't exactly really work on changing your gameplay in order to cater to that Frederick.
Well, I suppose, but I'm just glad that we might have an opportunity to be blessed with King Wise going on a Lancelot potentially. He's been playing Frederick for so very long. Just give it to him. Or if he wants to give the people a special treat, take a Ling as well, right? I mean, they've already shown the fact that the Varia has been locked in. You want to be able to take it out. But first, Blacklist International prioritizing, making sure that both Minotaur as well as Valentina are picked up, knowing that the Diggy is banned out. That AoE stun is, AoE knockup and slow is not really going to get punished just yet.
You can see that the priority on the Novaria means that you want to get for a kind of poke kind of composition. Novaria is great at poking. But then again, Blacklist International, with this sustain coming up from the Minotaur, they don't care at all. They can just really top up when it comes to their health with this Minotaur. And of course, the Valentina, the UA has been playing so well this game. FIMP, what do they actually take here? The Joy, perhaps?
This is my question, right? Because, like you said, poke versus the sustainability inside of Blacklist International, I never really liked it. I thought that they needed something more burst thirsty in this case. Right as well as Arlen. I want to see them being able to drag team fights a little bit while their backliners, their win condition, still able to constantly shred things out. I'm looking at the fact that Blenders International will probably pick a Barat into the jungle.
Oh,
and I want to see a carry on the side FIMP. Really just shred down the front lines, eventually to make it through to the back.
That's assuming that they get access to it. Let's see what this final pick coming in for Blacklist International is going to be on their base, because the fact that they locked in that Bane and also picked the Arlet, I was already thinking Arlet, but the fact that they got Bane, just the research that they have done, especially on Wise, I think it's very well done. Take away combo components, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. The joint's gonna be picked up by Blacklist International. The term Ube strat made by Blacklist International actually stands for Ultimate Bonding Experience, where all 5 players come together to pressure any area in the Land of Dawn. Maybe for all of our new viewers out there, and especially because we have invited the Western scene here at MSC, you probably have heard Ube being talked about so much. This is actually the inspiration behind it, and it's a delicacy in the Philippines.
It's delicacy, or some may say a sweet potato, depending on what particular language in Southeast Asia you're utilizing. But yes, at the end of the day, it's all about being as 5, as a literal complete unit, which is what Blacklist International continue to show pure level of, high level of polish on it. And we do see the Melissa as well as the Akai. It's clear that FIMP are making sure that they don't want them to disengage from their combo. But that's the thing, right? Does FIMP want to make sure that they double down on the combo components, initiating combo components rather than the payoffs, or disengage?
It seems like they are trying to commit now on to a priority ban for Wise. They're trying to shut them down here. Thing is, though, I think they might be, if they completely tunnel vision on the jungler, Wise is going to bring the Valentina into the jungle right? Again, if they tunnel vision too hard, it's going to be very dangerous. So maybe setting up for, even here it's going to be very tough. The fact that they're on blue side, setting up for your gold lane matchup, if you go for a gold lane ban here, it's going to be really tough for you, because Blacklist will have easy access to just a good gold laner, as they are first pick in the second phase.
Very likely it's going to be a B-Tricks from Blacklist International. They have played it many times, and it's just going to be working time and time again. Hell, I guess we can say the Snipe legend right now. It doesn't make sense for Owl to just kind of like take it, or rather just not play it when it's available.
I mean, especially since he's got wow, yes, so FIMP, they are, again, both you and Abstract as well as FIMP have done their homework. I mean, Miracle called it, they are targeting Wise, they're making sure that he feels uncomfortable as possible, but we might see those adjustments that we were expecting to see, right? I would like to see, I would very much like to see a Lancelot get picked up at some point of time, or maybe even Assassin from Wise, but that really depends on what the coaches are letting their players gain.
What if this is the time where we see the Ghetto Catcher that we have been looking for as the jungler for Blacklist International?
Doubled large AoE CC composition?
I think it's, well, it is something that you can think of, but I think the more reliable pick here, if they actually want to go for a weird jungler, not want to flex the Valentina into the jungle, it's just the Guinevere. We've seen it before. Might actually just see it again here for Blacklist International. They need a bit more CC to go and play around that Minotaur for synergy, but okay, Fireflux Impunity taking the Brody away, trying to replicate the same matchup. Blacklist forced onto them with a Grok as well. Finally, we see the Grok in the knockout stage.
I wonder what the interaction will be with you if you lay down the ultimate of the Novaria with the, of course, with the torn apart memory. Does it actually trigger the vision, right?
Wait.
Maybe that's the case.
So no way they go Aldous, right?
Actually, that's not too bad. At least with Aldous in the way that Wise likes to play in that full tank build, generally can pretty much out-sustain a majority, because again, Arlet's not going to have enough damage. Novaria, unless it's at max rage, is only going to hurt. Bane, even then, most of the time he's only coming afterwards.
Valentina jungle.
Which, by the way, is very scary, because in a big team fight around the objectives, what you do now is to copy the Bane ultimate, and you're going to be A-okay. Right, as the Valentina, you have so much damage with the deadly catch together with your combo. You just take out the neutral objectives. You know, this is an important match for sure for Fireflux Impunity. They are now facing elimination. They deployed Lunar. It's gonna be playing the Novaria this time. Is this gonna be enough?
I don't know. I think this is going to be a tough one. There are going to be some clear holes here for Blacklist International, but these are very small holes, and this early phase is going to be extremely important for FIMP.
And technically speaking, this is a completely new, or rather different kind of game plan that FIMP has faced before. So how exactly is going to be, how are they going to be expecting to play into this game here in the Land of Dawn, potentially the last game. Game number 3 between Blacklist International and FIMP.
Into the Land of Dawn we go, and yes, match points. This could just be the end for Fireflux Impunity's tournament lives. Again, reminding everyone back at home, single elimination bracket, no second chance. As joining the eliminated Viking up in the XP lane, Venus, Yue, and Edward, early rotation to get you at level 2 to maybe force an invade, but Kura is able to clear out the waves fast enough, and Apex 47 deals with the mid wave quite well too.
Down by the bottom side, at the very least, Apex is making sure that he's utilizing that Guardian's barrier to kind of slow down the waves and help them kind of get a comfortable laning phase, quickly get that level 2 as early as possible with minimal interactions whatsoever. Now, coming over to the Lethal Wanderer, I don't think this is going to be the biggest deal in the world, but my big issue is the fact that Yue is back on this Eve, and he's quite the powerhouse on it too.
Now, Blacklist International's early game composition has got a lot of magical damage that we can expect. Both Yue, Edward, as well as Wise, they all dish out really good magical damage. As such, FIMP is very likely going to target more onto magical defense. This is where Owl might actually be able to come online a little bit earlier, because FIMP put the itemization and put a lot of priority into magical defense, while their physical defense is pretty much neglected.
I mean, we say that, but even now, as we look at the lanes, I'm seeing that Sunshine currently level 2 compared to Owl already at level 3. It's about that control, right? Sunshine needs to win out this lane, and he needs to win it hard. And this is not even from outside influence. The 1v1 is extremely important, and this, we need to make sure, right? We are already seeing the first items come on through. We see the pants coming in from that Brody, and from the Beatrix, it's going to be that Fury Hammer. So naturally, we are expecting Owl to make sure that he continues to dominate and control this wave as long as he possibly can.
The 1v1 fight will stay for quite a bit of time. Blacklist International is already positioning themselves, preparing for this turtle fight. However, one thing that they do not know is that Kura is just right around the corner, in which...
Oh, final slash, deadly catch, everything thrown at Blacklist International. Wise is going to fall there, and it's going to be Kura who picks up the turtle. Now they're going to look for some more invades as Venus walks up, has a bit of fury, now locking him down in the real world manipulation as Edward comes through as well. It's a combo, and it's a deadly one as Yue picks up a double kill to respond to that play over.
That's so good. I mean, people tend to forget, yes, the first initial knock-up coming in from the Minotaur feels bad, but then you follow it up at Minnow and Fury, and then you go for another knock-up once again. You are just locked down for at least 4 seconds straight. It is not a fun time at all, but finally, at least for FIMP, they're recognizing that they have to play towards their win conditions, right? They got it.
Oh! Final slash. Those are some resets right now with Vengeance, but Alien loses all of his mana. Is forced to back away as Wise clears out his purple buff. One level lead still without the turtle. He's still holding on to it as that's a good Astral Sphere shot at Yue.
I thought initially, when they were trying to go for the initiation onto the turtle, it started out great. They managed to steal the turtle, number 1. They managed to get a kill down on the Blacklist International as well. However, FIMP kind of seems as though they've got their full sense of security, whereby they are a number ahead. They should be able to continue a fight onto Blacklist International, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be that way, because Blacklist International just didn't use that much ultimate after all. And once they had got the Minoan's Rage out, they pretty much got it pretty nicely.
I mean, the way that they're rotating across the map, they're just making sure that Owl is going to be pressured on the bottom side, right? Again, these neutral objectives generally aren't going to be touched. And Kura, the fact that he's so far away, let's double check on his levels in comparison to Wise. He's currently 6-6. Okay, so that's totally fine, right? Even levels, again, a volatile matchup here that really depends on how much farm that you're going to get from that mid lane. So as long as FIMP, and especially if Oh My Venus is going to control this lane, Apex 47 has a lot of work on his hands. in terms of not only clearing the waves, but opening up the map.
The goal lane is relatively even. The only good thing about the fact that the only good thing goes over to FIMP, whereby they manage to get a little bit of the energy turret. But the second turtle is not going to go anywhere close to the gold laners. Blacklist International will still want to get themselves the priority up onto the turtle, while FIMP positions themselves, readies themselves for the grand opportunity to allow Kira to jump in.
Alien with a final slash, real room, and Blake comes down, Edward's going to be able to find the turtle, but in the midst of it all, it's still going to be a good fight right now for Fireflux Impunity, getting Yue down, but Alien now with a vengeance, now so many resets onto the back, they keep that lead. Lunar unable to connect on that Astral Sphere. And again, it's Fireflux Impunity just equalizing on board.
They get a kill, they don't get the turtle, but that's totally fine, right? The turtle is just a side objective compared to what they really want to focus on, and that is going to be Kira power farming as hard as he possibly can. And Apex, on the other hand, he needs to get some defensive items, but he's a roamer, right? Top side, look at Alien go. First turret about to fall.
Engaged on right now, Edward jumping in forward, deadly catch. Is thrown out to disengage, and Fireflux Impunity, they will just respect this. They will go for turrets, a siege.
They actually focus more onto the EXP lane rather than the gold lane, right? I thought that most of the time they would want to unlock the Brody a little bit earlier and try to keep the Beatrix in the lane, or perhaps put him in uncharted territory, trying to overextend just to farm out the waves a little bit longer.
I mean, I would agree with that point, but it's all about finding the holes, and I think at least
the holes were top.
Yeah, the holes were on that top side,
right.
And FIMP, for the very first time, actually having a gold lead on their side, it looks good, right? At least things are changing up here in game number 3, especially match point against Blacklist International. Now, we're not seeing the lane swap happen just yet, right? They're making sure that they get an early push on that top side at the very least, and then start rotating for this potential 4v5 in about 30 seconds or so.
Venus again with a Venus Fury, Venus Rage popped in, and that's going to be the combo right there with a real run. Legion locking him in place as well. Kira with a deadly catch, trying to disengage. One more shot will do it. You are moving forward, but Sunshine finds a turtle memory, and Lunar snipes wise from downtown. A 2 for 2. Jungler for Rome, and Rome for mid.
Not bad, not bad. FIMP really turning up the heat against Blacklist International.
Oh, the Filipino sniper, the new one. Finds 2 basic attacks. Yue just cleans him up.
I think he definitely wasn't expecting to see Yue hiding in that bush over there. By the time he responded, it was already too late.
He finally misses.
Yeah.
Finally. The second time, or rather the third time, I believe Blacklist International will be able to get a little bit of that, the priority on the turtle. They're constantly trying to engage, or rather just keep themselves sticking onto the turtle, dance around a little bit, stay themselves in the 50 line. They do not want to have FIMP to cross this region anymore, especially since FIMP would want to get information as much as possible.
Oh, Alien with a final splash onto the back right now. Just disrupting the formation with a real word of inflation, locks them in place. Yue still able to kite away right now. Deadly catches does the damage. Now Sunshine is here for a cleanup, but he's not able to find the range on the rest of the members from Blacklist International. That does, however, give Fireflux Impunity more room, unless Edward steals it away. Retribution just to play it safe from Kira.
Oh my goodness, can we talk about the fact that if Yue didn't have an Ice Queen's wand, that would have been detrimental. Like, I think that FIMP would have walked Blacklist all the way down to their tier 2s and taken away their purple buff at the same time. Kira is a lot stronger than what people imagine.
Oh, Vengeance popped in. Sunshine will just disappear, burst it down.
Absolutely devastating from the side of FIMP. They managed to get 2 turtles and 2 turrets so far. They're on an 800 goal lead, even though they're just pretty much losing in terms of kills, which is not necessarily that important. The turrets is what we are looking out for. Blacklist International now finds a hole up in the northern side. They get the turret down.
That's the wild charge, the lockdown as well from Alien. That should be a free kill. Venus might just be next, but oh, brilliant wall to lock Venus down right now as Alien goes in for the sack once again with the final slash, is able to lock him down. Now Wise with the final slash by himself as well, saving the queen, but not for long. It's still just going to be a 1-for-1. Roamer traded in. Meanwhile, always, now with this comp, Fireflux Impunity are always looking to punish.
Yeah, one of the funny interactions that, again, it may not necessarily be important at certain times, but the fact is, with Lunar's ult, the Astral Echoes makes your hitbox slightly bigger. There is collision in this game, so when you do have the Nature's Barrier, there are times where you might misjudge the actual size of your hero, meaning that you might be spazzing out in between spaces at certain moments. And, I mean, I don't know how big of a deal it's going to be later on in the game, but it's just a fun little tidbit.
I think this is probably the first time FIMP has managed to get quite a bit of an edge on the Blacklist International. Albeit it's only 1,000 gold, but the control of the map is heavily tilted towards in the favor of FIMP. Blacklist International would want to find more ways to open things up. They will want to allow the Owl to continue to go on the farm. FIMP probably just want to hold the waves up a little bit more towards the 50 line and wait for the perfect chance to take the Lord.
I mean, considering how these team fights have been going, right? I think, you know, Alien has been doing a phenomenal job, not only buying time, but disrupting the backline at crucial moments, in a matter of fact, allowing the rest of the FIMP members to kind of walk in and set it up, right? 3 full seconds is all they need, and 3 full seconds could be the difference maker between winning a fight and losing a fight against Blacklist International around neutral objectives.
The itemization here from Blacklist International is very, very intelligent. They understand that FIMP impunity, they just have the better comp when it comes down to an all-in. So they are actually building Wise, especially here, for going one. So he's going for these prolonged team fights instead of just the burst that we naturally usually look at for Valentina.
They want to hurt them, right? They want to go in and out of these fights, but at the end of the day, they still are a little ult dependent. Oh my Venus, again, once that ult is down, the rest of the FIMP are coming in hot. Almost catching them off, making sure that they play in the space. Again, this Lord dance, very, very versatile for Blacklist International, but FIMP, I think this is where they back off completely.
That's dangerous. No wild charge.
This kind of seems like though Blacklist International doesn't really have a lot of beefy front line, right? They do have a lot of damage onto their arsenal, albeit most of that is magical damage. Oh my Venus is the only one that can pretty much open up the map.
Oh, Vengeance popped in. Sunshine should be dead. No wild charge to peel to cover. Now Edward trying to run away, getting the healing as well as Venus just body blocks all the way in the front. That's a 3 gold lane pickoff for Blacklist International as they look towards the Lord. Now only 11 minutes, so it's still going to be the first Lord of the game. No enhanced. Deadly catch now by Kura. It's going to be responded over. 6 sharks in the building. Then it's range and the mirror bastion. Kura's going to be bursted down. Meanwhile, the back right now, Alien tries to go for the steal, but Wise just absolutely belts Apex down like it's nothing. Alien's trying to run away. The Lord was secured as well by Blacklist International. Venus flickers forward, finding the stun. US slows him down, and final flash comes through as well. Alien's still able to sustain for now. That's the stun from downtown. Owl finds it. Venus soaks in the Astral Sphere like it's nothing, and Blacklist reclaim the gold lead.
I remember you were talking about not having a beefy front line. They literally have a cow right in front of them each and every time, taking the shots. And it's great to see that Oh My Venus is not just, you know what, we have to play the fundamentals when we can push an advantage. Even the Queen is willing to flicker forward without her ultimate.
It's a very different experience, right? Looking at the fact that Oh My Venus is the front line and the only technically the front beefy line. And we have seen other teams try to pull it off, but it just seems like they don't have enough defenses. They can't push out far enough. And this seems like this is absolutely the true Blacklist experience, where you just need a single front line of Oh My Venus to really gather yourself and to reclaim the lands that you have lost.
I mean, they're reclaiming everything. They're taking every single buff, every single camp, all the outer turns pretty much at the same time and focusing on top of this mid.
How are they going to defend this right now? Well, it's only the first one, so with the Deadly Catch, it's going to be another Deadly Catch response from Wise. Good shot on Secure with the Astral Sphere. Final Flash comes down, but it's only on the 2 members, and Dominion Fury comes down as well. That's only Alien knocked up, though. Now Sunshine still free, hitting with a Total Power Memory. Used for poke. Another Astral Sphere gets thrown out. The Blacklist International, their sustain is honestly there for them to just be comfortable.
I mean, this is going to be, they just managed to get the first Lord, and trying to clear all of the outer turrets is going to be their main part of the game. They did manage to bring the inhibitor turret low. Hold on.
Alien might just be bursted down. Oh, he goes for Lord! And he's going to be slain. Meanwhile, wild charge flicker combo from Apex 47, but no one's there to follow it up. Apex might just fall right now from the burst. Coming down. Edwards dashing forward. Apex still able to survive. Blacklist International choose to back away. They will take the dub with the Alien pickoff.
I could feel it. I could feel the leash being pulled around Edward. It's like, no, Edward, I know you got the electrified beats. You got to sit back, relax, and take it slow. Notice that he already has plenty of items on his side. He's been farming mighty fine.
Wow. to time it so well to find that. Kura, his orange buff is stolen away, now slowed down by UN. Edward comes through with some damage. Blacklist International, one-man advantage. They can use this, or they can choose to just play the discipline route. 20 seconds for the Lord. Why risk it?
I mean, there is still the second tier defense turret at the bottom lane, right? Eventually, if they do get the second Lord, they can just push it all down in one fell swoop. The top lane inhibitor turret has gone down, so it's we pretty much know the Lord will pillage us up top. Then they will take the middle lane and the bottom lane in tandem. That way, FIMP would have not a lot of answers to work with. Blacklist International just need to take things a little bit slowly. They do have the Minotaur to keep up with the sustainability. So Blacklist International, it is all about discipline and just holding themselves back.
I don't know. It's looking really, really bleak for FIMP. What used to be a lead now is turned into a 5.3k gold lead for Blacklist International. And I mean, they can hold them hostage, literally.
Apex 47 forced to use the wild charge, but it does not matter. Wise just tears him apart as Alien now will take a huge chunk of damage on his health bar. 3 Lord conceded. Blacklist International all across the board.
I'm telling you, this is how you hold people hostage. You sit around these neutral objectives. Ooh, come, please, try and steal this away from me. Try to initiate. Oh no, I'm looking so tantalizing right now. And that's when you punish them, cutting them down one by one, making sure that you take away their toes and their fingers before they even get remotely close. And now, as they walk up into the base, they're down a man. But at the end of the day, once they start losing these inhibitor turrets, there's nothing that FIMP can realistically do to clear these ways effectively.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me! That's Blacklist International's way to play the game right now with the Lord Dance. And yes, it is true. That's exactly what they've been able to do. And Firefox Impunity, they've just been caught again and again through the same thing. And again, it's Owl threading the needle through Alien Lunar, this time finding Sunshine in the back.
The Lord is eventually going to make his way in, and Blacklist International is pretty much trying to defend this as much as possible while trying to get the middle lane pushing in at the same time. Apex 47 managed to slow things down by a tad little bit, but Blacklist International, they are not really jumping right in anytime.
Blacklist sieging the base down so simply, so calm, so stone cold. It doesn't even feel like they're in any danger. Firefox Impunity right now, while Blacklist were calling an ambulance, I think now they're calling their plane.
Yep, I mean, this is where it gets really brutal, right? And I think even for FIMP, they have to play very... Oh, no, Kura, he's in a lot of trouble now.
Oh, that's a snipe from Owl. That's another also Astro Spear locking Owl down, but he is able to just sustain back up. He's going to be able to life steal away. Oh, that's another Alien. Gets picked off. Just like that, 2 members fall. You don't even see it. You blink and you miss it.
That's why patience is a virtue.
Game of capitalizing mistakes. That's what Blacklist International is looking out for. Play slow, play quick, because they know FIMP, they will make a mistake for Blacklist International to push right on in.
Cannon minion gonna be cleared out, but there's another wave coming down to the mid lane. How do they clear this one? Apex 47 first it down! Wild Jar Sunshine tries to make a play, but the base will be gunned down. A Minion Fury onto the back. Blacklist International, untouchable, unstoppable.
They're looking mighty fine right now. So clean. I would agree with them. Just use your wild charge at that point. Don't even need to flicker out of it. The end is here. W for win, V for victory. Blacklist International are going to be knocking out their opponents in FIMP from Turkey. GG, well played. Blacklist International.
A 0-3 series for the entirety of today. I would have thought that we'll be able to see a little bit more, especially for the final game. FIMP, they definitely had managed to see some light at the end of the tunnel. But Blacklist International, they still continue to play in their most disciplined place. Now, they knew that the game is not over just yet, despite FIMP getting the early game lead.
So with that, all the Western teams have been knocked out. And we're going to throw it over to Mara for an interview.
បាទអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាឥឡូវនេះយើងរកឃើញម្ចាស់ជើងឯកហើយនៅក្នុងការប្រកួតនៅ Battle មួយនេះអញ្ចឹងសូមហៅឲ្យ Blacklist មួយបាទវ៉ាវពិតជាខ្លាំងមែនទែន3វាវាយផ្ដាច់ទាំង3តែម្ដងមិនឲ្យស៊ីសំបីតែមួយចង់ដឹងថាអ្នកណាគេដែលជា fan Blacklist តាំងពីយូរណាស់មកហើយសូមហៅឲ្យ Blacklist មួយទៀតបង Wow ពិតជាមិនធម្មតាមែន fan ពិតជាមិនធ្វើឲ្យ idol ខកបំណងហើយ idol ក៏មិនធ្វើឲ្យ fan ខកបំណងដូចគ្នាអញ្ចឹងឥឡូវនេះយើងបានឃើញហើយថា fan របស់ Blacklist គឺពិតជាមាន energy មែនតើតោះយើងចង់ដឹងថាតើពួកគាត់ខំប្រឹងប៉ុណ្ណានៅក្នុងការលេងទទួលបានជ័យជំនះមួយនេះឥឡូវនេះខ្ញុំจะប្រកល់ទូរទស្សន៍នេះទៅឲ្យ Mara នៅលើ stage now I want to pass it back to Mara on stage for interview the winner
Congratulations once again, Blacklist International. You guys were so amazing. Sweep 3-0 fast games. What contributed to this dominant win? Is it because you know a lot is expected from you? Is it also because you know that your opponent looks up to you? What contributed to that sweep, V?
Siguro nakuha lang namin yung tamang team plan, yung tamang strategy versus Fireflux Impunity.
He feels that it's because they got the right mix of their strategy against Fireflux Impunity. Now, what can you say about your opponent? You've seen them before in the World Tournament. You were able to face them now. What can you say about them and any last words for them?
We respect Fireflux Impunity. That's why we really give our 100% versus them. So, to my soul sister, Vagalsep, I hope to see you on M5. And good luck on your journey.
Okay, you translate first, and then I will sum up. What is it?
V was saying that he has a huge amount of respect for them. And to his soul sister, good luck and see them next time.
Okay.
He actually said it in English.
គឺថាមារ៉ាបានសួរគាត់ថាហេតុអីបានជា Blacklist បានទទួលនៅជ័យជំនះមួយនេះនៅក្នុងការលេងជាធីមគាត់ថាធីមរបស់គាត់ទាំងអស់គ្នាគឺត្រូវដៃគ្នាជាមួយនឹងការលេងគឺព្រួតដៃគ្នាតែល្អតែម្ដងជាមួយនឹងការរើសធីមក៏ល្អដូចគ្នាដែរហើយសម្រាប់ហ្វីលីពីនគឺគាត់អត់ចង់និយាយពីអីវែងឆ្ងាយទៅកាន់អ្នកដែលមិនបានឈ្នះនៅក្នុងការប្រកួតមួយនេះទេយើងជាមិត្តភាពអញ្ចឹងយើងធ្វើល្អហើយនិយាយល្អទៅកាន់គ្នាព្រោះនេះជាការប្រកួតអញ្ចឹងវាតែតែមានការចាញ់និងមានការឈ្នះផងដែរបាទ
And I know